It is 10:01. Good morning from the Circa Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Lucas Panzika. In NFL news, the Miami Dolphins are releasing pass rusher Bradley Chubb after 4 seasons with the franchise. Chubb had 2 years left on his contract. He is 29 years old, had 8.5 sacks last season, and is a 2-time Pro Bowler that is now a free agent. The Winter Olympics continue on in Milan Cortina. USA women's hockey currently underway, midway through the first period in the semifinal matchup against Sweden, and the United States leads it 1-0. The U.S. men's team will begin their knockout round journey tomorrow with the opponent TBD. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. Good morning. Welcome in. Happy President's Day on this Monday on 104.5 The Zone. Glad to have you with us. No Buck. He is off celebrating presidents. Robert and I have got you until 1 o'clock. Ron Slay will join us later on in this hour, and there is much to be discussed, as there was very nuanced and not at all volatile reaction to the leaked new Titans logo as the franchise seeks a reset, a rebrand heading into 2027 at the new Nissan Stadium. We will talk about it. We will get your reaction to it. We are, of course, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. HattieBees.com and the Hattie B's app. Robert, good morning.
What's going on, buddy?
What's your favorite way to celebrate President's Day?
Oh, being too fat to be taken out of a bathtub, chopping down a cherry tree, having wooden teeth, any of those things, any of the pastimes of our former presidents, I think is a great way to celebrate.
I saw somebody on the internet say, be sure to leave out a porterhouse by the fireplace for President Taft today. Speaking of the internet, it was ablaze, no pun intended, by a leak. This is not how I expected to see this, because there had been scuttlebutt about this, Robert. The new Titans logo, which I will say has been prominently displayed at Titans House, where people go to renew their season tickets to get PSLs for the new stadium. And so there has been, some rumors that have floated about, some conjecture that will be the new Titans logo. The circle with the pointy T and the tri-star and no fireball. And then over the weekend, Fanatics puts out, somehow, Titans fans, somebody noticed this plush toy that was for sale that looks like a furry football. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, a bunch of teams got them.
Okay.
So, like, the Rams have them. A number of teams have these.
And it has this new logo prominently displayed right on the front. And people said, what is this? Are the Titans rolling out a new logo via Fanatics? And quickly, I think it was taken down, but Easton Freeze, A to Z Sports, got some reporting out that is indeed going to be one of the Titans' new looks, or at the very least, a component of the Titans' new look moving forward. I'm not sure starting exactly when, but sources did confirm to A to Z Sports the Titans logo and rebrand. Oh, they did say for the 2026 season. So I'm looking at that over the weekend, and I'm saying, did we see the end of the fireball, of the flaming thumbtack, and not even know it? Because if so, I wasn't prepared. I was not prepared. And we have time to take your reaction, to hear what you think about the logo, 615-737-1045. We are also on 1045 The Zone TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, where you can chime in on the F&M Bang chat. We are already getting comments that say they love the new logo. We're getting comments that say they hate the new logo. So I'm sure it'll be all over the place today. But, Robert, I just simply wasn't ready. I'll be ready for that last game at the current Nissan Stadium, the place that I grew up going to Titans games, the place that I associate most with NFL football in Nashville. So I feel like I'm going to be able to brace myself to say, you know what, this is the last time the Titans will play football in this building where the Music City miracle happened, where all these moments happened, Derrick Henry 99-yard touchdown run, what have you. But I wasn't prepared if we are indeed saying goodbye to the fireball.
I was kind of surprised to see a lot of people echoing what you're saying about, the flame tack is gone. Well, you guys didn't really like it when it was here, I thought. The cool thing for you guys is if it does become a cool vintage look, every piece of Titans gear you own becomes a new vintage look. It's like, oh, I love that throwback Titans uniform. It's like, oh, it wasn't always a throwback. It didn't used to be like this. But you know what? I may put me in the minority, at least from Twitter. I like it. I like the new look, especially with the new coaching staff, the changes coming, the implementations they're doing. And I really do think it supports Robert Saleh, which if they're successful, this makes a lot of sense, where I think they just kind of shed the hair. Like, this is the bald logo moving forward.
That's right. The logo is bald. Coincidence? Doubtful. There has been some research done that this is indeed the baldest coaching staff in NFL history that we can work to confirm along the way, and we'll get a chance to sit down with Robert Saleh next week when we are at the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis. We'll ask him the important questions, like questions about the bald nature of his coaching staff and of this new logo. So, again, the F&M Bank chat is all over the place. Lonzo says, I love the thumbtack. He didn't want to move from it. Football Fred says he's okay with the new logo. Bibbity Bobbity says, just give me the full uniform. And I do agree with that. I think the logo, when you just see it on a white background as you're scrolling your phone, looks one way, and then you see the mock-up of it on the white helmet, and I do think it looks a lot sharper, a lot cleaner. But I think it's a good just general rule of thumb to save your judgment until you see it fully in action. And I guess we're going to get a chance to see it in 2026. Michael says, new logo is solid. It'll be clean on uniforms and merch.
I think the people that were hoping for like a Greek mythology spin to it are probably a little upset too. But how cool would it be if they replaced the flames with like Hephaestus lightning bolts and like really leaned into it? And I saw some mock-ups where it was like the border around it was like a Greek band. But, you know, I think any of these things, like, change is always hard. Anytime new uniforms come out, generally I feel like people are like, oh, that sucks. That looks awful. And then after a couple months, after seeing it a little bit, they're like, oh, yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Like when the Dolphins moved to this new logo, I remember thinking, like, what is up with this anime dolphin? Like, I liked the old dolphin with teeth and a helmet on. What happened to that thing?
What is the most controversial logo switch in NFL history that you can remember?
Oof.
It's hard to think of, right? The most traditional franchises in the NFL aren't messing with it. Can you imagine if, I don't know, if the Steelers dramatically changed their logo, the outcry, if the Cowboys did anything with the star, dramatically changed or altered the way the star looks, people would lose their minds. But has there been, I mean, helmets have changed, right? The Eagles had the wings on the side, and then that moves on, and the Giants had sort of the spelled out logo that was underlined, and now it's sort of the NY logo. But has there been one that has legitimately sparked outcry amongst an NFL fan base?
Well, yeah, it would be the one that's never going to come back in the Redskins.
Sure, yeah.
Like a ton of Commanders fans, or when they were the Washington football team, were like, this is so stupid. Like, please bring it back.
Yeah, and that was an identity crisis that, was not of their own making, I suppose. An identity crisis that I guess was of the making of the people that initiated that franchise years and years and years ago. But that was something that was kind of forced upon that organization. That's a tough thing. Here, you have to reset, figure it out. So I just was not prepared to say goodbye to the Fireball. That's all it is. I have said so many times on this show, I'm the worst person when it comes to anything that's even adjacent to fashion. Like if something looks good, if the color scheme makes sense, if you can wear navy with gray or khaki on a day-to-day outfit. I don't know the answer to that, much less if something looks good on a football field. I feel like I'm always the one when people are freaking out about a new uniform, when Color Rush was a thing. I feel like I'm always the one that's like, no, I think it's fine. I don't know. I do not watch things through that lens, I guess. So I have no problem with the new logo. I thought it looked sharp on the mock-up that I saw with the helmet. That's all well and good, but it's a little bittersweet for me. I don't know. The Fireball, that's my Titans logo. That's the logo I grew up with. That's the logo that I saw when I would select the Titans to play with on Madden, right? That you've seen pasted all along and throughout Nissan Stadium your whole life. When the Titans got here and went from the Tennessee Oilers to the Tennessee Titans and went on that Super Bowl run, and then 2 decades after, it's all about the Fireball. So maybe I'm alone in that. but you just don't know what you have until it's gone sometimes.
It's tough. Well, if Titans fans are upset by it and maybe mourning the flame tack, 5 teams have filed for uniform changes in 2026. So odds are you will not be the worst. Odds are someone else will have a dumb remake that looks stupid, and everyone's going to go, oh, those are dumb, and everyone will forget about the Titans rebrand. We'll slowly be able to get used to this again, learn to love again, learn to trust again, break down those walls that keep us inside and confined, and we'll learn to love this new Titans logo.
Yeah, I have no problem with the new logo. Especially if they win football games tied to it, that's great, but I'm going to miss the Fireball. I am. 615-737-1045 if you want to chime in about the Titans' reported new logo, according to A to Z Sports, leaked new logo. We have not seen anything official from the team. Now, we do know, I think people are acting like it's news that the Titans are shifting to the Oilers blue as their primary color. The Titans told us that ahead of the 2025 season, in which they wore the Oilers blue as the primary color with white on the road and that light blue at home. But obviously you still had the Navy helmet with the Fireball logo that appears to be going away. Again, 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. John in Nashville is up first. Hey, John.
Hey, how's it going? I was going to say on the old school uniform changes, the Bengals going from the spelled out Bengals to the Tiger Stripes.
Thank you for the call, John. I'm not sure when that happened, but yeah, the Cincinnati Bengals, not exactly one of the premier traditional NFL teams that you think of when you think about a team that would spark outcry by changing its logo. So it has happened. Obviously, it's happened here with the move from Houston to Nashville, but it's a little nostalgic for some people, myself included. I was, by the way, Robert, watching yesterday, NFL Network was just replaying old Super Bowls on the first Sunday post Super Bowl.
Sure.
And I sat and I watched the majority of the Titans Super Bowl matchup against the Rams. I watched most of it. So much that, and I'm not going to pretend like I was a conscious sports fan that remembers every detail of that game. I vaguely remember being at a Super Bowl party as a toddler, but in no way, shape, or form would have known what's going on. All I've known about that Super Bowl is what I've gone back and seen. Of course, mostly being that final play, Kevin Dyson 1 yard short. But you get reminded of so much. You get reminded of Blaine Bishop's injury and how impactful that was as the leader of this defense, getting carted off the field when it was a 9-0 deficit and then became a 16-0 deficit. You get reminded that Steve McNair in that game broke the single-game Super Bowl record for rush yards by a quarterback, while Kurt Warner simultaneously broke the single-game record for passing yards by a quarterback in a Super Bowl. And then, of course, that drive at the end and Steve's run to keep the drive alive and set up that final play. And we all remember the 1 yard short, but Al Michaels, his call of that game had me just distraught at the end, where Jones tackles Dyson, sticking the football out, iconic picture-perfect moment, maybe not so much for Titans fans, but in NFL history. And Al Michaels says after the play has kind of settled, they've replayed it a couple times, Rams are spilling out onto the field. They're taking one last look at the replay. And he says, you know, there was a movie called The Longest Yard. And he says, there's your sequel. I said, oh, Al, devastatingly good. Devastatingly good. What happened?
Instead of a sequel, you got a remake.
Yeah, and now Al Michaels appears to just despise having to call NFL football. 615-737-1045. Daniel in Clarksville wants to chime in about the logo. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, fellas. How y'all doing today?
Great.
Hey, real quick, I may be in the minority here. I feel like the new logo is almost kind of lazy almost. Like they just took it and said, you know, let's just take the flames off of it, throw it on the side of a helmet and see what sticks. I almost wish they would have kept the flames and maybe the new helmet would have had the flames coming off the side of the face mask, kind of like the Eagles do with their wings. I think that would have been a cool new twist to everything. I just feel like it with a whole new rebrand and new stadium, I feel like more thought could have went into it other than just taking the flames off of it.
Thanks for the call, Daniel. I do think people have a strong opinion on it one way or another, and we put it to a poll how you feel about the new Titans logo. Like it, love it, or bring back the Fireball. At Lucas Panzica is where you can go vote. Stashville tweets at us and says, the Denver Broncos, when they shifted from the D with the horse on the helmet. I'm sure that caused some controversy back in the day. Obviously, the Patriots had the old school Patriot logo and then shifted to what we know now. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I'd be curious to hear what the reactions were like. Obviously, that was well before the dawn of social media, but people are having strong reactions to this one way or another. I do have some level of concern about it. That's not necessarily related to how the logo looks. Again, I think the logo is fine. I think it looks sharp. And if they're winning football games, it's going to be fine. It's going to look fine, and nobody's going to care. I do have some concerns about just the general premise of switching and some of the things the Titans are trying to do that we can talk about later on in the show. Maybe we get Ron Slay's thoughts on the new Titans logo, as well as his thoughts from the weekend of college hoops and more. Ron Slay will join us coming up next.
You've got one life, and it's too short for not nows, maybe laters, and tomorrows. If you're noticing issues with ED or performance, then your relationships, your confidence, and even your career have already been affected in all likelihood. Online folks promise convenience and discretion, but their treatments are generic and some even unsafe. Guys, no more excuses. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is the state's first men's health-focused urology practice with multiple urologists and providers focused solely on male performance. No unproven snake oil or peptides without solid research. Since 2014, they've pioneered men's health in Tennessee and have been testing and growing to make sure you get the best care and the safest, most effective treatment. So call them today at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090 right now, or book online in under 30 seconds at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
Ron Slay is in studio. Ron Slay, who was on the same flight as one Robert Walsh on the way back from North Carolina over the weekend. Robert tending to some family duties. Slay, of course, studio duties for SEC Network on a weekend slate of college basketball. What's up, Slay?
What's up, fellas? Glad to be here with y'all, man, especially without the irritant.
Yeah. He just bogs things down.
Yes, he does, man. Messes all over. What's up, Bert?
Well, I wish you would have took me up on my offer, dude.
Hey, man, Bert.
What's happening here?
Bert offered his beautiful fiance to a seat to change seats with me for me to sit with Cheyenne.
I was at the back of the plane.
It ain't got nothing to do with that. You don't leave Cheyenne to come sit up in first class. I should have switched with him.
Oh, so he wasn't offering for Cheyenne to go up to first class.
No, hell no.
So
he wanted
hell
himself.
no.
He wanted you to go back and sit with Cheyenne so
Yeah.
he could sit up in first class.
Yes, and he meant it too. He let Cheyenne walk on up a little bit. Hey, you want to switch with her? I'll give you anything.
I was like, you get up, you go back there, I sit here.
No, Bert. No. The dude next to me, he yelled out, hey, do you know him? I was like, yeah, he cool. Dude. Wild dude. Some dude about Bert just walking through the airplane,
Hey,
offering up seats.
And
Let's do it.
listen, I was kind of excited when I got back there, though, because it was the most beautiful, stunning stewardess airline flight attendant that I have ever seen. Like Margot Robbie
Really?
decided that she wanted to be a flight attendant.
She's played a flight attendant before.
I
She
was
never came up to the front.
No, she was in the middle, dude. I was all the way in 29 in the back. I was like, oh, man, I'm about to pay attention to where my flotation device is. I'm about to be ready for all this.
And some follow-up questions.
And then she went to the middle and started asking the emergency row. I was like, no, I'm going to miss out on it. And then here comes this dumpy-looking dude coming up there like, if you need a bag, there's one located. I was like, man, I'm going to sleep. But she got off in Nashville, so if you'd like to separate me from my future wife, let me know. 615-737-1045, girl. Give me a call.
To be fair, Cheyenne probably would have rather sat with you.
Just being real. I know it. That's why I was thinking if she would have heard it, she would have been like, no, you don't have to ask him. You just go. Like, come on back here with me. We can get back here, chill, play Uno, do all kind of stuff back here. While Bert is in first class doing whatever he would be doing.
First class on a flight from Charlotte, right? You guys are going Charlotte to Nashville. How worth it is first class on a domestic flight from Charlotte to Nashville, which is what?
I wouldn't
a couple
pay for
hours?
It. I wouldn't pay for it.
Like little extra leg room? Like what are we talking about?
Yeah, that's the main thing for me. The leg room. This is true. Yeah, the little extra leg room. That's all we can get. But other than that, no, it's too short. It's 45 minutes, maybe 50 minutes, maybe.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that ain't nothing.
no.
You close. You nod your head one or two times and you're there.
I'm trying to see what that'd be like. I'm trying to see what that. I would have been awake the whole time on that. Bring me a drink.
Trying to figure out it.
What did y'all get to eat? I felt like y'all got steaks up
They're
there.
not serving champagne up there.
Clams Casino. Y'all was eating good up there.
Hey man, we ain't touching anything.
They pulled that curtain and I didn't see nothing.
It was over.
They getting blooming onions up there, foot rubs. I don't know what's going on. I'm just trying to see what that
You
be
ain't
like.
missing nothing, Bert. It ain't. You know what I mean?
They give you a look too before they pull that curtain, right? They kind of
They
give
do,
you a
like,
little
yeah,
glance.
like,
Like, what does Jerry Seinfeld say? It's like if you had just worked a little harder. Close that thing. All right, so Tennessee does what it's supposed to do on Saturday, and it was wavy. There were waves up
very
and
true.
down, kind of like the Mississippi State game, but in the end, they handle themselves. They get all that they could want from LSU, and they win 73-63, holding off the Tigers. Ethan Berg with the spark here. Nate Ament coming into his own in the second half. What was it too interesting for your liking Saturday, or was that just life in the SEC?
Man, I'm gonna be honest. At this point, you reach those. Some people call them dog days. Others get them tune-ups. Some people is trying to just get by and get a win. When you facing teams that are kind of at the bottom, not kind of at the bottom, but they are talented enough. If they hang around, they can beat you. Those are the ones that scare you. You know what I mean? LSU, they played without two of their best players and still were in the game. Coach McMahon is coaching for his job. He's from East Tennessee, so you knew they'd come in there and fight for him. I believe that was one of those, man, we got to get through this. I thought their next three games, the Mississippi State, the LSU, and Oklahoma coming up Wednesday, are all games that you say, man, you know what? Let's just win. It don't matter how you win, especially at this point in the season. Yes, you need to be forming good habits and practicing the way you're supposed to so you can get that momentum going in. But it's teams like this that are not necessarily in the running for NCAA tournament berth, you just got to get the win and get out of there, man. Whether it's ugly, like look at what Oklahoma did against Vanderbilt. They tried everything possible to give the game away. Vandy couldn't get it, and that's a bad loss. I'm sure Vandy would have took a 1-point victory. And it is what it is. Quad 4, whatever it don't even matter. Like, get the win and get out of there, man. Just don't form any bad habits. I thought it was good to see guys like Ethan Burry come on because he's been one, when he comes in, I squint my eyes, like, really, really hard and get real, real tight, like, to try to imagine it's somebody else. I've always hated him wearing the number 35. But to put my personal dislikes aside, I love what he was able to come in and do. And I love Rick Barnes taking that moment in a game like this to be able to get confidence for these guys because you're going to need this bench. The way the minutes that Gillespie plays, the foul trouble that Bishop Boswell may get into, you need a guy to be able to handle the ball, albeit old school, a little slower, a little methodical when he's in the game, Ethan Burke, because he hasn't caught up with the speed. But you need guys like that to get some confidence going into this latter part of the season right here.
Yeah, 3 for 4 from the floor, 8 points off the bench. Ament, 22 points, 9 boards. I don't know what he's got to do for a double-double. Like, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
Always flirting.
That's 4 times, I think, 4 or 5 times this year. He's had 9 boards with a double-digit scoring effort. But J.P. Estrella with a nice spark, 16 points, 9 boards for him, too. Tennessee 18-7, 8-4 now in SEC play. So I was just happy they only missed 6 free throws.
Yeah, finally. If we can couple that with the making layups and not turning the ball over, you're going to be in a great, great space. And this team right here can go get whatever it is out there for them. You just got to be able to figure it out. It's the attention to detail. And I think you hear a lot of the players talking about it. Gillespie talks about it. Ethan Berg talked about it. Nate Mint talked about it. The focus and details all the way through 40 minutes. It's amazing what that 1 or 2 minute stretch will do, or in Tennessee's case, 3 minute stretch will do, of scoring drought, not paying attention to detail, being up 12, and you let somebody run off 4 free throws and 2 layups, and you like, we got a ball game again, and it shouldn't be. So just figure it out, man. Just figure it out. Take a deep breath. Figure it out. After this Oklahoma game, which Oklahoma should have their attention, coming in and shooting the way they did, this shouldn't be one of those games that you just check the box on. They got a real talented team, Porter Moser, and you talking about somebody else fighting for their job. Porter Moser not only fighting for his job, but Oklahoma's still in consideration for the NCAA tournament, which is wild.
How so?
Dude, because of their wins, their non-conference wins.
They're 13-12, just for context.
Right.
3-9 in league play.
And it's horrible. And I said the same thing when talking to Joe Lunardi. I'm like, man, are you sure they supposed to be on the consideration line? He was like, I'm telling you, just some of their non-conference and the way they've been playing. The games, so it matters the point spread also. So we saw Memphis play Utah State, I believe, this past weekend. And Penny Hardaway was getting upset about the late game points that was given up and the dunks and things of that nature. I think a little bit of that was you want to keep that game within 10 points. You can keep that within 10 points, you get a little bit more consideration. Oklahoma's been in every single game this year, every single game. They just found a way to trick it off and lose it at the end. So that right there is, I think, is why they're in consideration. And then plus their upcoming schedule, they can run off 4 or 5 right here and then get 2 wins in the SEC tournament. They'd be in the tournament, and that's crazy. So
Tennessee hosting Oklahoma Wednesday. Vanderbilt handled their business, beat an A&M team that feels like is a good matchup for Vanderbilt, right? Texas A&M, Alabama, who they have wins over each of those teams at this point. Ron Slay hanging out in studio. Vanderbilt will go to Missouri on Wednesday before we see Tennessee and Vandy finally clash Saturday. We're going to have all week to talk about that game, but just surface level, what do you see from that matchup? Where can Tennessee give Vanderbilt some problems that they've faced already when going up against teams that can be a little bit more physical in protecting the rim and under the basket?
Yeah, the front court is the Achilles heel for Vanderbilt. Even though they've been playing really good, you had Washington play very good against Auburn, had his career high. Okereke came back against A&M, had his career high. So McLaughlin's been steady. So you have these guys starting to get momentum and to build steam. But Tennessee, on the other hand, they can give trouble to Vanderbilt by the length, the size, and the way they go to the offensive boards. The only problem is not being able to make putbacks. You get second chances, but you're not converting those second chances. I think the way Vanderbilt plays with the spaced out and they depend on their guards, that could be advantageous for a team like Tennessee because they can pound the ball inside. They can go get the mismatch with a guy like Nate Ament. If you get one or two guys in foul trouble for Vanderbilt, it can get kind of dicey, especially if Duke Miles isn't back. Frankie Collins, we don't know when he's coming back. So it's a lot on Tyler Tanner. So the idea would be to be able to heat him up, pressure him, get him tired, maybe get him in foul trouble, and then Tennessee should be able to have their way. But we know how that goes when you start to expect Tennessee to be one thing and they're not. So it's going to be interesting. I think with that game is on Rocket Top, right?
No, the Saturday game is on West End.
Oh, is it?
This coming weekend is on West End.
So they end the season on Rocket Top.
Yeah.
But, okay, so hey, I would expect guys like Jalen Carey, you know what I mean? This is one of those opportunities that you say don't get overflowed with the personal standpoint of it, but Jalen, go be you. This is you from the offseason, from talking. He talked about, that black and gold school or whatever he referred to them as. This is your opportunity to go get some get back. So I'm all for it, man. I think Felix Okpara being back offers a little bit more. J.P. Estrella playing the way he is offers a little bit more for Tennessee. I would give an advantage to the front court. The wings, I would give an advantage. Probably the Vanderbilt. Point guards, I would say even. But there it is.
Tyler Tanner, before Saturday, where he only made 2 field goals, was just on fire, red hot. How real is his candidacy for SEC Player of the Year? How tight of a race is that right now?
It's real tight. I think you got guys knocking on the door. I think Tyler Tanner is in the conversation. I would give the front runners to Thomas Houck from Florida, Darius Acuff Jr. right behind him from Arkansas. But then you got LeBaron Fallon knocking on the door. You got Tyler Tanner knocking on the door. You got Otega Owe from Kentucky knocking on the door. And if Nate continues to play like this, he's knocking on the door. The thing with all of these guys, as far as Tanner, Fallon, and Nate Ament go, and Otega Owe, they got to keep winning. The separator right now is Arkansas continues to win, and the way Darius Acuff is flashing. Also, you look at Thomas Houck, he's been consistent all year long, and it looks like they're on another stretch run to get first place. So you would need somebody to derail it. I will say with Tyler Tanner, the way he was playing, only 4 points, he still controlled that tempo for Vanderbilt against Texas A&M. Even though not scoring, you need a guy to be able to get the ball, make the right decision, and make the hockey assists. A lot of hockey assists were given in this matchup against A&M. Okereke, that's why he was able to shine, getting the ball in the middle of the press and not sitting back and waiting. That's how you got to attack pressure with A&M, and they did that. Tyler Tanner, I thought, was fantastic outside of the scoring, you know what I mean, as far as controlling tempo and pressuring their guards, because, man, them guards, that pressure don't stop on both ends. They applied. So I love Tyler Tanner. He's going to have a big decision to make at the end of this year to continue to play like this.
Yeah, averaging just over 18 a game. It's 5th best in the league. 5.4 assists per game, behind only Darius Acuff of Arkansas, who is at this point a game back of Florida at the top of the standings. And then you've got that whole logjam of 8 and 4 teams in the SEC, 2 games back of the Gators. Are you ready to call it a 2-horse race based on the way those teams are trending and the talent level and consistency of those 2 teams? Or do you see a 3rd or 4th kind of popping up and making this thing interesting in terms of the fight for the regular season title?
Man, the weirdest thing is the way Tennessee's schedule shakes out. I think they have an opportunity. When you look at Arkansas, I think Arkansas still has to play Florida. Yeah, they do. They go to Florida in about a week. So that right there is going to decide something. I thought this race, as far as with Kentucky can gain ground. Tennessee can gain ground. Those, to me, are the 2 outsiders with an opportunity to try to gain ground on Florida and Arkansas, to try to make it come down to the last week and see who can. I think, what was it, Dalton Connect's year, when Dalton and them won it, DK and the Vols won it before going to South Carolina. I think it could be a situation like that for Florida. It's just, Florida's just rolling, man. It's good gosh. Arkansas can't win on the road yet. That's where they got to go and show improve. But Man, they got a tough one. Arkansas goes to Alabama Wednesday. So we could see a clear picture after Wednesday as well. Then going into Saturday, that Vanderbilt and Tennessee matchup could also show, you know what I mean, if Duke Miles get back healthy, if Vanderbilt was able to beat Tennessee, they could push themselves in the spot for first place too. But I think it's a one-team race right now with Florida, man, even though the standings look like that.
You're back in Charlotte Wednesday?
Back in Charlotte, baby. About to hit the road again. Go see if I can find another Burt.
Back in first class. Must be nice.
Hey, it ain't me, Burt. It's the mouse. It is not me. It is the mouse that's doing that.
As long as you ain't paying for it. That's all I care about.
Hey, we're flying first class. We got a new coffee machine. Just be happy about the new coffee machine.
Has Burt, you drink coffee?
I drink anything.
Yeah,
it don't matter
he
to
dabbles.
me.
He dabbles.
I
was telling Burt, and you know this, and you're not a coffee drinker.
No.
But you spent a lot of years playing professionally in Italy.
Absolutely.
What happens if you try to order a cappuccino at 3 p.m. in the afternoon?
You ordering a cappuccino? Why? First of all, why would you be ordering a cappuccino?
Well, I told Robert. Oh, you just mean in general?
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. I'm drinking one right now.
Okay, yeah. Oh, in Italy,
You got 21 minutes to finish it.
I told him if I see him drinking a cappuccino after the first hour of the show is over, then he's done. I'm dumping it out in the sink.
See, all I know is when I was in Italy, our halftime ritual for our captain and our co-captain, they would get an espresso, the little shot.
Yeah.
And hit that. I'm like, dog, what are y'all doing? Like, this is halftime of a game. I thought coffee is you just sit back and, it's a conversation piece. Not for them, man. It's an energy boost. So they would get back out there and just be going all crazy and missing layups in the layup line. Like, dog, why would y'all be doing it to y'all bodies, man? But, hey, man, to each his own. I wasn't doing it. There was coffee for breakfast, coffee for lunch, coffee for breaks, coffee for halftime, coffee for after the game, and coffee for dinner.
That's something Mario Cristobal does with his guys. The entire offense, I didn't notice this until the national championship game. The entire offensive line group, before they run out onto the field for pregame warmups, they do their little huddle in the tunnel, some words from their position coach, and they all have a Cuban cafecito, and they all take a shot of it before they run out onto the field. Just one last boost before you're in.
That's a beyond boost.
In the mode.
I've never seen people operate the way they do off of coffee over in Italy, dog. It's worse than Red Bull and everything. Like, this right here is a different. And when I first got over there, it would be a cigarette.
Oh, yeah. It's coffee and a cigarette.
Yeah,
just standing up at a little bar, maybe like a quick croissant, and that's breakfast.
But at a game, though.
Yeah.
This was halftime. They were by the window, 3 players smoking a cigarette and taking an espresso. I'm like, dog, where am I at, man?
When I tell y'all I could have been a professional athlete, that's what I mean.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll be in there in a second, coach. Yeah, as soon as I get done with this. As soon as I get done with this dart, man, I'll be out there. I'll put you a 3 up for the quarter, coach.
Dude, Bert, they by the window, dog. And then I'm like, dude, this crazy. But then I walk back in the arena, and everybody's in the standing by the door smoking with all the smoke coming back in.
We used to be a proper country. And
it hasn't changed either, man.
It ain't going to change.
No.
Never will.
You guys are going to talk about this on 3HL, I'm sure. But just yay or nay, in or out on what you're seeing with the new Titans logo.
To me, that's got to be a fake. That's too bland. It's too bland for me. Like, that's just like somebody made that in class in arts and crafts, you know what I mean, and just scribbled that. Come on, man. We got 3 little stars all separated with a T. Like, what is that? What is the T? A little sharp T? Like, you know what I mean? A door stopper T? Like, come on, man. That's not what you want to be, Titans. You don't want to be the doorstopper of the NFL. You want to be able to get something that's standing there, branded, logo that you can be proud of. I honestly like the old T.
I like
the little flaming T.
The fireball.
Yeah.
Like, that was my whole thing. I'm just not ready to say goodbye to the fireball. I didn't know.
I'm not either. This is like a mix. You trying to bring back a little bit of the Oilers, the old school, or Derrick, you know what I mean? But it's a T now. That don't work for me. It don't work for me.
You're on today, right? Yeah. All 3 of 3HL's working.
Yep.
Everybody's working President's Day.
We're working,
except Buck.
baby.
All right. Ron Slay, hear him later on at 3 o'clock with Brent and Don. Appreciate it, man.
All right, dog. Y'all be cool, man.
Let's do an Olympic update coming up next.
Commitment is the core principle of any winning team, and Two Rivers Ford has been committed to you, their customers, for over 4 decades. Not only does Two Rivers Ford offer the best prices in town, they also have a well-trained, knowledgeable sales team that doesn't work on commission, so there's never any pressure. So if you're in the market for a vehicle, check out the winning team at Two Rivers Ford. Family-owned and operated since 1983, Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
All right, we were going to do an Olympic update here, but Ramon Foster stepped into the studio. Slay is coming right back because we got something to get to. All right, there's something that we have to talk about, this headline in college hoops, that I need to hear Slay's thoughts on. And Ramon, you don't even know. What's up, by the way? Good morning.
What's going on? Listen,
Happy President's
my big
Day.
brother come up here in the AM. I got to stick around for him. So he was here. I was waiting for him to be done with the show. Then I'm walking out the hallway thinking I'm about to meet him at the intersection. He's like, hold on, Savage, hold on. And I said, I'm going to hold on. He's like, just come in here. I was like, well, I'll go in the studio too then. I mean, the door's open.
All right, let's start right here because I have this written down to talk to Slay about. Jerome Tang has been fired with cause at Kansas State, who's having a dreadful season. And he had this to say I want to say Tuesday or Wednesday, a midweek game, an embarrassing home loss against Cincinnati to continue a dreadful season for Kansas State. And this was Jerome Tang post-game.
Blessed to do this, but this was embarrassing. These dudes do not deserve to wear this uniform. There will be very few of them in it next year. I'm embarrassed for the university. I'm embarrassed for our fans, our student section. You know, it is just ridiculous. We got practice at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, and we will get this thing right.
So he goes on at some length, but that's kind of the headline of what Jerome Tang had to say midweek last week. Kansas State has fired him with cause, which means no buyout for Jerome Tang. And here is the statement from K-State. Recent public comments and conduct, in addition to the program's overall direction, have not aligned with K-State standards for supporting student athletes and representing the university. Your first reaction when you hear that from Jerome Tang?
I was like, hell yeah. Like calling him out, I don't think, like, he's probably already called him out. The response that he's gotten privately hadn't shown publicly. So call him out publicly at this point. Like, I have no qualms at all about any coach choosing to challenge his players in this type of way. As long as he's not being disrespectful, and I don't think that was. You publicly displayed to us that you were short on your performance, and I know I'm coaching it and hammering it home. They deserve that public ridicule. I think it's okay from time to time. As long as he's not mentally putting them in a twister, it's fine to me.
I agree with him. I agree with Savage. I thought automatically, like, this is what it was. This was now, granted, you was playing Houston, but this is not just from the Houston game. This has been building over the season. So he's tried everything else. And when you look at Jerome Tang, I think Kansas State, they should be bashed. Just for the simple fact, like, his first year taking over, this is year 4 for him. The first 2 years, man, the man took him to the Elite 8. You know what I mean? He was the same coach in the crowd with the fans, putting the juice back in Kansas State that they hadn't had there since Michael Beasley. Wow. And those guys went on a run. You know what I'm saying? And now you get all of a sudden the same transparency that he was showing then, and talking about him being a God-fearing man and being in the crowd and giving love to the students out there before. I want to say they even had game day one time, but you can't all of a sudden turn on them because y'all losing. Like, and he called the players out. Now you're looking to get that $18 million back. That's the problem. Yeah. Y'all trying to go. It's cool to fire him. Let him go. But pay the man what he's owed. You know what I mean? The man's done a job. It was y'all. Y'all gave him the extension. Nobody tell y'all to jump out there on the limb and give him no extension. So I think it's bogus. Kansas State. And this is the thing with the portal. Like, he was able to go get a guy like P.J. Haggerty from Memphis, who was an All-American at Memphis, transferred into Kansas State. Sometimes it don't work. And in today's age, when it's not working, you got to give him grace, a little bit of a grace period. Like, this is a good coach in a hell of a conference where it's top-heavy in the Big 12, and you getting on him after the way he talks about his team after losing to a Final Four caliber team in Houston. Like, get out of here, dog. Like, that's weak, especially when you coming on the heels of Vic Schaefer going off on his players, Kim Caldwell going off on her players, Dan Hurley, the way he clowns and acts in the media. Bobby Hurley said the same thing at Arizona State. Like, we go down the list. He did nothing worse than any other coaches. The way Will Wade just talked about his players a month ago. Yeah. Rick Pitino last year against St. John, talking about he don't even know who his kids are. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Rick Barnes said that this year.
Like, everybody does this. And he did it. It wasn't demonstrative or anything. It was really a matter of a fact. Like, you know what? They don't deserve. And they went out there and played without no names on their jersey.
They did?
Yeah, I thought that was cold.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah,
so
he
the
took the names off.
Against Houston.
Yeah, they took the names off the jersey.
That's
fair, though. Yeah, man, y'all, this is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Rick Barnes said he's worried his players are gambling because they're turning the basketball over
like,
so
you know
often.
what I mean? And he said all in tongue in cheek, but it's like, dude, this is what it is. Yeah. Like, Come on, man.
That's soft
weak.
by
It's
Kansas
weak.
State.
It's
Yeah,
weak.
that's
It's weak is
real
what it is.
soft.
It's weak. They looking for an out. I hope they don't get no coach.
Well, what's the reason for them to get an out on him when he's the coach that's had the most
Exactly.
success for him as of late? Like,
Exactly.
who you gonna go get when?
The results, you mentioned that Elite Eight run, year 1, year 2, 19 and 15, NIT bounced in the first round, year 3, 16 and 17, and this season they're 10 and 15. They have one win,
That's the
in
problem.
Big 12 play. But it just reeks, doesn't it? It reeks of seeing a tiny little crack of a window open to save a few $1 million.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I get it. You don't win, you can fire him. You got to pay him. That's y'all fault.
That's not strong enough to be with cost.
No.
It can't be, right?
No.
And,
Can't be.
No.
and for them to say in the statement, mentioning the conduct in addition to the record and the direction of the program.
Bringing embarrassment on the program. Get the, what?
Jerome Tank
y'all
taking
just
the
brought
court,
the
man.
embarrassment. Yeah,
he did.
and he handled it perfectly. Came out with his note. Listen, I accept what they did. You know what I mean? But behind lines, he going straight to fight this. And he gonna win. He gonna win.
He should win. That's embarrassing right
It
there.
is, dog.
Just fire him if you want to go in a different direction.
Yeah, and that's fine. Pay the cost.
Yeah, that's very true too.
That's all it is. Pay the cost to be the boss.
Did either of y'all have that where there was something that a coach said that grabbed headlines like this in a moment like that? Maybe Tomlin, or when you were at Tennessee, a post-game press conference, podium appearance that really caught the attention of players? Or is that something that we overblow when we talk about coaches putting out messages to their team through the media? How real is that?
I feel like most time players understand and get it. I would highly doubt if any one of those Kansas State basketball players was offended by that. They probably know it too. In this transactional world that we live in, it's called the transfer portal. If I'm hot, I'm good.
Yeah.
If I'm hot, I'm really good. I'm going somewhere else regardless. If I'm bad, that's what we're not discussing enough, in my personal opinion. We're not discussing what he finally said publicly. Coaches in football, basketball, women's sport as well, are asking players to leave.
Yeah.
You didn't do good enough.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
And that's what he's basically telling them. Like, he ain't lying. Them dudes ain't going to be in that jersey next year. That's why we speak about the portal being so filled right now. Coaches, y'all, parents are asking players to leave.
Yeah.
After sitting in your living room and saying, I'm going to treat you just like my son or my daughter.
Yeah.
They're asking them to go. He didn't lie to me.
No, we need that scholarship. Can you go and get on out there? We'll help you find somewhere to go, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deion had Deion Sanders had open tryouts during the bye week for his practice squad players and guys that weren't playing because this is your portal tape.
Yeah.
But we're thinking that he's saying those guys not going to have in a jersey next year is bad. That's a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lie.
That ain't nothing.
I ain't ever had none. The only thing Coach Tomlin ever said publicly was, we want volunteers and not hostages.
Yeah.
Something like that. And everybody knew what that meant.
Who was that? I can't remember who that was about specifically. There was, I thought there was a situation there of somebody requesting a trade or something. I cannot remember.
I forget what it was.
But I do remember that quote.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Le'Veon, I think, holdout.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what it was.
That's
We want
right.
volunteers and not hostages.
Man,
Crazy.
appreciate you guys sticking around.
No doubt, man.
We might as well do this for 2 more hours, man.
Yeah, come on.
They don't
gotta
give
go
a-
pack, Bert.
I'm on
They gotta
salary.
pack.
I'm on salary. My 4 hours is done. I don't get time and a half, Bert. Unless Big Bert want to give it to me.
Hey, look, I'll pay y'all's wages. What is it for a day? Like, I got a couple bucks.
Come on,
here. Hold
Triple
on.
B.
I will give you whatever
Triple
is
B,
in
Big
my
Boss
wallet. Oh, dang, I got a blue band in here. No, I'll give y'all the
Foster and
20.
Ron
glad he
Slay
said
in
a blue
studio
band.
hanging out.
Nothing else. We take blues, though.
Appreciate
We
it,
do.
guys.
Hey, dog.
Happy President's Day.
Yeah.
Joey Aguilar
See.
has not heard anything from his hearing on Friday, but we'll fill you in on everything that took place in Knox County and when we may hear an answer about the Tennessee quarterback next.
Nothing worse than a plumbing, HVAC, or electrical emergency. You don't know what it will cost or if it'll get fixed correctly or if someone is just trying to sell you something. That's when you call Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. The price you're told is the price you'll actually pay. There's no hidden fees or surprises on your bill. Hiller has been in business for over 35 years and is family-owned and operated. The techs are professional, experienced, and trustworthy. When they're on their way, you'll receive a photo of the tech and a link to track them in real time. No more wasting time waiting around. 100% satisfaction guaranteed of Happy You'll Be, or the service is free. That is the Happy Hiller promise. So book online today at happyhiller.com.
It is 11:02. Good morning from the Circus Sports at the Mint, Kentucky Downs 104.5 The Zone studio. I'm Lucas Panzika. In NFL news, the Miami Dolphins have made a series of cuts as Tyreek Hill has been released from the Dolphins. Earlier today, edge rusher Bradley Chubb, the two-time Pro Bowler who still had 2 years left on his contract in Miami, was released. Chubb, 29 years old, and is now on the open market. And former Titans wide receiver Nick Westbrook-Akine released after an unproductive season in Miami. The Winter Olympics continue on in Milan Cortina. The United States currently is third in the total medal count, behind Norway with 27, Italy with 22, the U.S. with 17. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. While president, Theodore Roosevelt once impressed a Japanese delegation with his jiu-jitsu skills, which he started learning as a young boy to strengthen and improve his health. He had struggled with asthma, but realized that a healthy exercise regimen helped minimize asthma attacks. So there's your presidential fact. We're going to do one each segment for the remainder of the show on this President's Day. Good morning. Welcome back in. Buck is out, mercifully. He will be back tomorrow, unfortunately. So Robert and I have you covered until 1 o'clock. And we are, as always, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. So that's a nice image. Theodore Roosevelt, mustache, beer belly, I guess you could call, and all.
No, you wouldn't call him a beer belly.
I feel like Theodore Roosevelt had some thickness to him.
He had a man belly.
Okay.
Probably my favorite president.
Oh, yeah? Teddy?
Oh, yeah. Speak softly, carry a big stick, all that good stuff.
Yeah. National parks. Well, he's the one that got shot while conducting a speech, correct? And finished the speech.
Right. Wasn't it? He started the Rough Riders or the Green Beret Boys or whatever that was. They were just a bunch of dudes who rode around parks with guns. Doesn't that sound fun? Doesn't that sound like it would just be an elite job? Go make sure no bears attack any children while you're romping around.
For national parks alone, I think it should put Teddy Roosevelt up there. But that is a good image. Teddy Roosevelt, mustache and all, doing jiu-jitsu for a Japanese delegation. So there's your presidential fact for the segment. We do not have and will not have for the remainder of the day any sort of update on the Joey Aguilar situation after his hearing in Knox County on Friday, as Aguilar seeks a preliminary injunction so that he can be eligible to play for Tennessee in 2026. Trinidad Chambliss got his in what was a very favorable home court advantage, let's say, in Mississippi by Judge Robert Whitwell, who, Robert, actually got emotional when delivering his final comments and making his decision official that Trinidad Chambliss would be granted a medical hardship from his 2022 season at Ferris State, thus giving him an extra year of NCAA eligibility.
Is it still real to him, damn it? It still means something to play for your school.
It means something to Robert Whitwell, certainly, the judge of Mississippi. Now, Judge Haggerty over in Knox County, who multiple times expressed his Tennessee fandom, made it very clear that this was not going to be the home court advantage that it was for Trinidad Chambliss in Mississippi. This was live streamed, so I did end up watching the majority of it, and there was a lot of boots on the ground reporting from VolQuest, from our friend Adam Sparks of Knox News. Very clear, two things were very clear early on, that everybody in the courtroom, attorneys on both sides, the judge, the people in attendance, had a great admiration for Joey Aguilar and what he's done for the University of Tennessee and what he did for the program after the Nico drama, and then here comes Joey Aguilar out of nowhere. So that much was clear. Everybody had a sympathy towards Joey Aguilar, had an admiration for him. And then another thing that was clear was that Judge Haggerty was going to analyze every single angle and poke holes in every argument of Cam Norris's briefing, argument, whatever legalese you want to put into it, Joey Aguilar's attorney in the matter, who is also a Knoxville native. And you left thinking, no clue what's going to happen here. 50-50. But if you have to lean one way, I did not walk away from watching that hearing Friday feeling like, oh, yeah, Joey Aguilar is a slam dunk to be eligible in 2026. Now, we're not going to learn anything today from Judge Haggerty because it is a federal holiday. So the earliest we could know something is tomorrow, but it could take through the end of the week. It could take until next week. No idea what the timeline is going to be, but it is not a quick answer the way it was on the day of for Trinidad Chambliss. Here is a sample to kind of show the dynamic that was happening in this courtroom. This is Taylor Askew that you're about to hear, the NCAA's attorney in this matter, who also happens to be a Knoxville native and a UT alum, talking about his admiration for Joey Aguilar, but why it does not mean that he should be granted another year.
Of Tennessee football. I'm from Knoxville, grew up watching it. My kids watch him every game. But at some point, when judges are looking at records like this, and in Tennessee, we have to say, Tennessee is better than this. We're better than this. We don't have to go to court to get our guy back. We don't have to play somebody who is ineligible under the rules to win games. We don't do that in Tennessee. And we can make that decision without taking anything away from Mr. Aguilar in terms of how fantastic he was. You're a hero to kids around this city. Fantastic. And we can't take that away from him. He will always have a home in Knoxville. We didn't know who he was until Nico left, and then he came, and it was wonderful. But that doesn't mean we break the rules. It doesn't mean the Vols get something everybody else doesn't.
So that makes for an interesting dynamic, right? This guy has said he is a season ticket holder for Tennessee games, as is the judge in the matter. Told you right there, he's from Knoxville. He goes to the games. His kids watch the game. They love Joey Aguilar. They were fired up to see him come in and lead the SEC in passing during the regular season after the Nico drama unfolded. But it doesn't mean that he should be able to play for another year. I could not have predicted this dynamic that played out on Friday, Robert. Just ties to Tennessee all over the place. How are you feeling if you're Joey Aguilar in that moment? Which, if you don't know by now, Joey Aguilar is suing the NCAA for another year of eligibility because his argument is his years at the JUCO level should not count towards NCAA eligibility, as the JUCO level is not recognized to be at the NCAA level. So that's his argument. But what do you make of this judge? What should Joey Aguilar be thinking in that moment when the guy is praising him and thanking him for everything he's done for the program, but doesn't want to see him take another snap of college football?
I don't care that your kids like me. Just let me take another snap, dude. Let me tell you one thing. This is going to end poorly. I'm just going to go ahead and let you know Joey Aguilar is not going to be a Vol next year. Because if the judge's name was like Joe Fauna and Flowers or Skips Through Meadows, maybe you would have gotten it. But Judge Haggerty is going to show a little leniency in some way? Hell no. His name is Haggerty. It's not nicety. He is going to tell him tough cookies, go play in the NFL, go play in the Canadian Football League, go play in the XFL, any of these minor leagues, go and play in an arena league. I don't care, but you're not going to be playing at Knoxville. You just don't get that out of I bet his grandkids hate him.
You don't see Judge Haggerty having his heart grow 3 sizes and decide, no, Joey Aguilar deserves another chance to play college football.
You're a good kid, but good kids don't get to play college football for 17 years. Gavel slam. Sends him right to the gulag.
T-Man on the F&M Bank chat says, college kids with no NFL future postponing the growth and opportunities of current high school kids. Take your money and go home. Oh, I am so torn on all of this because I think Joey Aguilar's argument does hold water, right? If you are at the JUCO level and it is not counted as an NCAA institution, why should that count towards NCAA eligibility? That doesn't make any sense to me. But then that also opens up this door for guys to play 3-4 years at the JUCO level and then move up, right? Kind of add another level into this.
Yeah, there needs to be like a certain level of, okay, you can have 2 years of JUCO, or you can have 1 year of JUCO.
Which he does.
Right. And we won't count that 1 year. But the scenario you're talking about where we have 28-year-olds playing college football, where, okay, I'm going to go play JUCO for 4 years, and then I'm going to transfer to Ole Miss and be 72 years old rushing the passer.
Right.
Like, that just doesn't seem like I feel like that shortchanges the kids coming from high school that were talented enough to play. Now their developmental path is being blocked by this old dude who is just physically more dominant than everyone else. Old dude, I keep saying that, but I mean 28 years old. That's a whole lot older than 20. Yet 8 years in college weight rooms. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, and another part of this that does not help Aguilar's case was Judge Haggerty was determined to find some level of evidence on the actual damages, on what kind of money Joey Aguilar would miss out on. And that comes with a discussion about market value for a quarterback in the year 2026 in the NIL landscape in college football. And that's not something that you can give a concrete answer to, right? We don't have public records. You can say Carson Beck reportedly made X at Miami last year, that Darian Mensah reportedly made X at Duke last year, but we don't have that on a piece of paper to look at the way we do in the NFL. So that made his case a little more difficult. Judge Haggerty wanted numbers. It was something that Cam Norris, Joey Aguilar's attorney, could not provide on the exact type of damages, proof that this is the money Joey Aguilar would miss out on if you denied him another year of eligibility. It's a messy, messy situation. I do like Joey's argument, right? It is not the Bediako situation of deciding to go pro and then trying to hit the undo button. I like his argument in principle, but I also don't like the idea of certain players finding certain ways to get another year of eligibility with this patchwork of local court cases as opposed to blanket rulings, which we don't feel anywhere even remotely close to. And the NCAA can try to give blanket rulings, but it doesn't matter because players just sue and sue and sue. And then you have local cases with local judges granting favorable outcomes, which may or may not be the case in Tennessee. And as tied as Tennessee as this judge is, it does not seem like he's going to let that be a reason to give Joey another year.
Haggerty is an Irish surname, which derives from a Gaelic term, meaning, which translates to unjust or severe.
Oh, no.
It's over.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's over, buddy.
George McIntyre, come on down.
I heard he's been eating a lot. Heard he's been putting on some weight.
That sounds like a pirate name, Haggerty.
No, Haggerty, I feel like that's the dude that gets poked by the nun. Like, I saw you drinking the other day. Like, that Haggerty is the guy that drank a little too much at the bar.
Messy, messy, messy stuff. So the earliest that we can know on Joey Aguilar's immediate future will be tomorrow. I hope for his sake it's tomorrow, right? So he can figure out what the hell he's going to do in 2026. I guess the ship has sailed to go to the Combine, which, you know, we'll be in Indianapolis a week from today. We're driving up there immediately after the show. But we'll see. We'll see what happens if maybe it's all. What if it's all just a show? What if Judge Haggerty got up there and said, no, I'm going to make sure people know this is not going to be what happened in Mississippi. This is going to be, I'm going to explore every angle of this and make it very clear. No favoritism will be shown. And then in the end, just give Aguilar the extra year and say, I'm just kidding, buddy. Just wanted to give you a hard time.
Yeah, I just wanted all my peers to think I was actually doing my job. Go Vols.
We'll see.
As soon as he's like, and he is eligible to return, go Vols.
Well, the judge, he did say we when referring to Tennessee football. I mean, I'm telling you, this thing is so incestuous and just weird.
I feel like it should have to be at a neutral site. You shouldn't be able to have a home game for these court things. Like a court in Oregon should decide
That's what I was saying. Well, he was asking questions about eligibility and how it would apply. He said, okay, if he were granted this injunction in Tennessee, is he eligible in South Carolina? And when exploring that possibility, Judge Haggerty said, I mean, we're going to South Carolina this year, aren't we? Don't we have a road trip to South Carolina?
Aren't we?
Speaking we as in Tennessee football. It's just, the whole thing was just odd and a statement on where we are right now in college football. Where are the Miami Dolphins? They're cutting everybody, including some very familiar names to you. We'll do some NFL headlines coming up next.
With free agency 3 weeks away, a flurry of cuts from Miami leads us to one Lucas Panzica with NFL headlines.
That's right.
With Lucas Panzica.
The league year starts March 11th at 3 p.m. Central Time, and the Miami Dolphins are slashing left and right millions of dollars of cap space, cleared up, and some familiar names, some pretty high-profile names here. You probably already knew that Bradley Chubb is being released. 2 years left on his deal, has been in Miami for 4. He is a 2-time Pro Bowler, had 8.5 sacks last year, and is only 29 years old, Robert. I most definitely would have guessed that Bradley Chubb is minimum 33. Was he just young? Or, I mean, I just said he didn't come out that long ago. Why does it feel like Bradley Chubb's been in the league for a decade?
I feel like what year was he drafted? Was it 2018? 2019, something like that?
2018.
So, I feel like any of those years close to COVID, it just spins by. You're like, oh, yeah, that guy's 73 years old. Like, you just have to deal with how old they are. But turns 30 June 24th. I would say he was the most captivating name released by the Dolphins until they released Tyreek Hill.
That's right. Tyreek Hill, the 8-time Pro Bowler who tore his ACL 4 games into the 2025 season, has been released, as well as offensive lineman James Daniels and wide receiver Nick Westbrook-Akine. Titans legend, no longer a Miami Dolphin. Those moves, those 4, Hill, Chubb, Daniels, NWI, that clears up nearly $67 million and over $56 million in 2026 cap space, according to Tom Pelissero of NFL Network. He says one or more could be held again or until March 11th for additional cap savings. The roster reset is underway in Miami. So let's take this piece by piece. How attractive would someone like Bradley Chubb, who did not play in 2024 but played in every game last season, had 8.5 sacks, how attractive would Chubb as a scheme fit be to Robert Saleh and the Tennessee Titans, you think?
I think if you just said scheme fit, you could do a lot worse than Bradley Chubb. But I did run this by Zach Lyons and Stoney Keeley just to make sure that my football acumen was on point here. If you want to juxtapose the fact that he will be 30 in June, he is coming off a ACL injury in 2024, and I wouldn't say he's exactly the body type that you're looking for if Saleh is going to transition to a 4-3. I don't think they should be that interested, because he's going to make about $7.5 million just by being cut. So you would have a little bit of wiggle room there with a contract. But I still imagine you would have to give this guy $20, $22 a year for something that a player that might not be exactly a great one-for-one fit on what Saleh's trying to do on his defense. He's not necessarily, with a 4-3, you have 4 down linemen, right? All of their hands in the dirt. He has traditionally not been that player. Traditionally, he's been a stand-up guy, generates a lot of pressure, a great pass rusher from the outside linebacker position, but not necessarily someone that you would be like, oh, yeah, that's a big, strong, burly man who can put his hand in the dirt and set the edge. So do I think it would be a good fit? Potentially. But with the money, with what you would have to pay him, I think you would be putting yourself behind another 8 ball, adding an aged defender like that you would eventually have to be like, is he worth this money we're paying a year and a half from now? So I think that would be a bridge too far. A note from Zach as well. Jeff Hafley, who is now the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, runs a 4-3 defense. So if he was going to be an excellent fit in that style of defense, they probably would have found a way to keep him. Instead, eating $27 million in dead money, I don't think it would be the best fit, but I also think you could do a whole lot worse. So I'd say if we're giving a letter grade on fit, I would probably say a C+.
If you're looking for Titans ties, Reggie McKenzie was a part of the Dolphins front office before coming over to join Mike Borgonzi, and they're with, of course, Dave Ziegler and Chad Brinker, all a part of that administration. So beyond the Reggie McKenzie tie, I am not thinking of any other ways that he could be drawn to Tennessee just from a relationship standpoint. Of course, there could be relationships that we are not privy to, but Reggie McKenzie was a part of that Dolphins front office. Okay, so that's Bradley Chubb. What will the interest in Tyreek Hill be? 31, coming off of an ACL. How much does that dissuade teams from bringing in Tyreek Hill on a 1-year deal when 31, he's about to be 32. He'll be 32 here in a couple weeks, so at the start of the season. 4 games, had 21 catches in those games for 265 yards and a touchdown. Certainly hard to expect the same explosive speed demon that we've seen for years coming off of that ACL. What do you think the demand will be like for Tyreek Hill?
I think it will be extremely specialized with teams who have a culture in place where they feel like they can absorb someone like this who may not show up to meetings on time or may have disparaging things to say about teammates or coaches, or his attitude or effort may not be 100%.
Like Kansas City?
Yeah, that's the number one A1. You would imagine that him going back there with, if Travis Kelce comes back, Kelce, Mahomes, they would feel pretty comfortable in bringing him back in there and getting him to play ball with a pretty deep stable of wide receivers at this point, with everybody coming back from suspension and injury and all that jazz. But, I mean, it would have to be that, right? Because, as you mentioned, he's coming off an ACL tear, and I think that's only second to what the off-the-field antics that he brings, right? Because you're bringing in an aged wide receiver who was hurt and a distraction and might not be the wide receiver he was in yesteryear. So a bunch of but ifs. Oh, but if he could do this, or maybe if he's not, like, you can't. I feel like the Titans aren't in a position to absorb something like that, but perhaps the Chiefs, the Rams, any team with a stable culture, with a set head coach, a set leadership within the organization, I think that would be the team that would go looking for a guy like that.
William H. Taft was especially enthusiastic about golf. He was the first president to play it, and he sparked a surge of interest in the game, as well as many critics who felt that he should play less golf and do more work. He was also the first president to start the tradition of throwing out the first pitch at a Major League Baseball game, because he threw a ball from the seat that he was in. Taft famously had a hard time getting out of seats, to Washington Senators pitcher Walter Johnson on April 14th, 1910, which was the season opener for Washington that year. So everybody thinks of Taft as the fat president. That's all he is. He's the fat president who had to be lifted out of his hot tub, or his regular tub.
I bet it was hot.
He's also the first president to play golf. There's your presidential fact for the day.
I bet he wishes he was the first president with a golf cart, because his big ass was not wanting to walk around the greens.
That's a good point. How was he getting around?
He's probably out there just thundering through. I can't make good stomp noises in the studio. Probably just thundering through the damn greens.
No, there's no way. He had to have somebody pushing him around on some sort of...
You think he had like a rickshaw? Yeah. Someone like two or three dudes just carrying him on like a produce wagon, wheeling him out there.
I do love this note that critics felt he should play less golf and do more work. So that is a long-standing tradition in not just American politics, but sports, coaches, senators, presidents that get accused of playing too much golf. It goes all the way back to William H. Taft.
People are allowed to have hobbies. Let them have their hobbies. It's like Cheyenne being like, you shouldn't play video games. When you come home, you've been looking at screens all day. It's like, let me unwind. Let me get back to my normal.
She's not wrong. She's not wrong about the screens.
No. How are you supposed to play video games without screens? I did buy a bunch of board games at Goodwill the other day. $50 for like 14 board games.
Get you some blue light glasses.
Oh, I don't know about that. Glasses make me look nerdy.
615-737-1045. You can also jump in on 1045 The Zone TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. T-Man says horse and buggy. That's how Taft got around on a golf course.
Donkey and sled, yeah. He later said.
So NWI also hitting the market. I would be surprised if at this point, there's next to no tie to NWI's time with the Titans, right? Brian Callahan's gone. Rand Carthon's gone. Chad Brinker's still around, but I'd be surprised if one of the Titans' solutions this offseason is to bring back Nick Westbrook-Akine.
I do think he'd be relatively acquirable, though.
Yes, very much so.
The deal he signed with the Dolphins, we were all like, oh, that guy got $7 or $8 million. Like, that's pretty good. I think now it would be a much more palatable number.
How many catches do you think Nick Westbrook-Akine had for the Dolphins last year?
Let's say 9.
11. You almost nailed it. 11 catches for 89 yards last season.
How many touchdowns, though?
0.
Oh, he's got 9.
No, I think he might have used up most of his career touchdowns in that 1 year for the Titans in 2024. So, all right, the Dolphins slashing players off of their roster as they reset with Jeff Hafley, the new head coach, John Eric Sullivan, the new general manager. Meanwhile, the door seems as though it remains open for Derek Carr to come out of retirement, and he spoke on it with a little bit more nuance, a little more specificity, as opposed to just generally praising Aaron Glenn and Jets fans, which fueled rumors about potentially Carr being a bridge quarterback option for the Jets in 2026. But Derek Carr, with his brother David, has a podcast and spoke on the idea of coming out of retirement.
I told you this. It hasn't changed from the first interview that we did.
Tell him.
Okay.
Tell the people.
All right. Would I do it? Yes. Would I do it for anybody? Absolutely not.
Nope, there's no way. I know from experience in the last couple months he would not. So stop calling unless you're serious. Unless you're trying to make a run at this thing.
Yeah.
Right? The confetti falling.
Listen.
The Lombardi in the sky. That's what we're after, okay?
Yeah.
That's what we're after.
So would I do it? Absolutely, I would do it. I told you two things. I'd have to be healthy, and I would want a chance to win a Super Bowl.
That's two pretty
and
good
obviously,
factors.
that's a tough thing to find.
Would have to be healthy and would want a chance to win a Super Bowl. This is very funny considering the Jets are the team that continuously get floated out there about Derek Carr, right? Like him saying, I'd come back. I wouldn't come back just for anybody. Does anybody define anybody more than the New York Jets?
Yeah, they're definitely the anybody. They're like the people sitting at the lunch table by themselves. Like, do you want to invite them over? And like, no, dude, that guy stinks. Don't bring him over here.
I'd be curious to hear Derek Carr's definition of what he considers to be a Super Bowl contender. Players obviously view this in a very different lens than we do, right? Derek Carr, I'm sure, is of the belief that if he goes into a team with a good culture and some good parts and pieces and a solid defense, that he could be the key cog that gets the team to a Super Bowl with this amazing redemption arc out of retirement. But I'm thinking of the Venn diagram, Robert, of Super Bowl contenders and teams that could use Derek Carr as their starting quarterback, and I'm struggling to overlap those circles at all.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. Later in that clip, they allude to, get out, put all my purple and gold stuff on, alluding to the Minnesota Vikings. But that kind of feels like, I know J.J. McCarthy, like the whole 9 thing, like he wasn't like exceptional, but it also feels like really early to cut bait on a guy you drafted in the top 10. Like, if you're going to bring Derek Carr in to be your starting quarterback, that means you're done with JJ.
Does it?
Like, to me,
yeah.
To me, if you're going to bring a dude out of retirement to be your starting quarterback, like back of the bench, buddy.
Yeah,
like
year 3 of his rookie deal at this point.
He's played 10 games. Like, the only person that I think would be more upset than JJ would be the other JJ, Justin Jefferson, because he's had Kirk Cousins, he's had JJ McCarthy, and a slew of backups who started in place of them. And every mic'd up session he's a part of is like, throw the bleeping ball. Like, give me the ball. Quit throwing hospital balls. And then you're going to bring in, like, the scrubs ball thrower of all time, call him J.D. Carr because of how many hospital balls he throws. Like, I can't imagine that would make Minnesota Vikings fans like, oh, we just let a quarterback leave to win a Super Bowl. We're going to bring one in, right? We're going to bring somebody in good, right?
Here's
right?
Derek Carr.
Yeah. Like, I feel like you'd be ticked off about that. Does anybody else make sense to you?
Oh, man. I hear what you're saying on J.J. McCarthy. I don't think it has to mean that it's over with him, right? Derek Carr coming out of retirement could very easily open another window for J.J. McCarthy to get another opportunity, or if you're going to do the chips in, it's now or never in the last year of his rookie contract. I don't know. I mean, you're right that year 3 of a rookie deal, bringing somebody in to start is not a favorable situation whatsoever. I don't think it would make J.J. McCarthy completely unsalvageable. I mean, we saw it with Bryce Young in his second year in Carolina, where it really felt like this thing is trending towards didn't work, start from scratch, and now here's Bryce Young. He feels like somewhat of an ascending player. They were in the postseason, won the division last year, hosted a playoff game. But apart from Minnesota and New York, I have I don't know.
I have 2.
Go ahead.
I'll pitch them to you. One would be the Steelers. If they're unable to bring Aaron Rodgers back, why not just bring another dude out of a darkness retreat?
I shouldn't be, but I feel like I'm in the mindset of Aaron Rodgers is going to play quarterback for the Steelers.
I tend to agree with you. The other team on my mind would be the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not exactly happy with Daniel Jones's where he is in his recovery timeline, and maybe he doesn't feel like they'd be able to start the season. And in their minds, we need to start with somebody and finish with someone. They felt perfectly okay bringing Philip Rivers out to potentially win them one game to try to slide in the playoffs. Why not bring in Derek Carr, who maybe not the athlete Daniel Jones is, but an okay enough thrower of the football to get them there, especially with how that defense is trending.
The Colts are a good submission. If that does happen, or if their QB solution is a Derek Carr-like solution, a one-year stopgap, then how many of those will Chris Ballard have had? I mean, it's insane in his tenure since Andrew Luck, that 1 year, see what he can do quarterback, to survive Phillip Rivers and Carson Wentz, and then the Daniel Jones thing. Finally, we hit on one. Oh, broken tibia, ruptured Achilles. And here they are again, essentially looking for the same mold, it feels like, of quarterback. And Chris Ballard continues on in Indianapolis. So we'll see. I don't know where Derek Carr's going to land if he does come out, but probably not going to be much of a Super Bowl contender. The question really is, who can Derek Carr convince himself is a Super Bowl contender, right? Not who. Nobody Derek Carr lands with are we going to point to and say they're contenders because they have Derek Carr playing quarterback. But in Derek Carr's mind, would he look at Indy or Minnesota and say, okay, yeah, we could do something here? Again, in his mind, but the competitor's logic, I think that is something he could convince himself of with those two franchises.
Best case scenario, if you're him, Matthew Stafford's back just folds like a coffee table, and they need somebody. We need a veteran. We don't trust Stetson Bennett. We don't trust whatever rookie we're going to take in this draft.
Jimmy G's still there.
Yeah, well, we don't trust him either. So we're going to bring in Derek Carr.
Yeah,
like that would probably be best case scenario for somebody like him.
Tell you what, though, it's not the Jets. It's not the Jets, Derek.
Yeah, who would come out of retirement
if he is out there talking about, yeah, but it can't be for just anybody. It's got to be a Super Bowl contender, and then goes to New York. Oh, man, that will be some fun conversation if that is the case. Quickly, Robert, Travis Hunter, we got news over the weekend, is going to play full-time corner and part-time receiver. This was reported on Saturday. Just surface-level first reaction, still worth trading up for the number 2 pick?
Oof. Sure. I'll say sure. I think he can be really special at cornerback, especially if he's able to dictate or dedicate a lot of his time to that one position and just play some spot wide receiver.
Yeah.
I thought that was his better position coming into the year, but and much to the chagrin of any fantasy or dynasty fantasy people that drafted him very early in the first round. Yeah, look at this wide receiver upside. Him and Brian Thomas Jr. Well, now he plays defense, buddy. Glad you wasted your first-round pick on a dude that's never going to score any points for you.
A knee injury that happened in practice is what shut down Hunter's season early. I'm with you. The immediate reaction, the easy reaction is, oh, nice, Jacksonville. You traded up for a bust that was only 1 year as a full-time receiver and corner. If he's special as a corner and even provides any sort of impact at receiver, then it's a slam dunk still worth the number 2 pick. The overreaction on that has been a little ridiculous. The availability is something that we'll keep an eye on with Travis Hunter. The Belmont Bruins are on fire, leading the Missouri Valley Conference, and had an incredible comeback win yesterday, so we will chat with Belmont head coach Casey Alexander next. You know, it's been a nice year for college basketball in the city of Nashville. And a lot of that is due to what the Belmont Bruins are doing, having won 11 of their last 12 games, leading the Missouri Valley Conference, currently 24-4 overall after a comeback win over Murray State, rather. Yesterday, on the road, down 39-24 at halftime to come back and win 87-70 with only a few games remaining in the regular season. And Belmont head coach Casey Alexander joins us now on 104.5 The Zone. And, Coach, first of all, thank you for being here. Great to have you, as always.
Hey, glad to be here. Thanks for asking.
I always appreciate you coming on when Buck isn't here. We don't have to waste any time him talking about himself or his Hoosiers. We can talk about what matters here. And you guys hanging 87 yesterday, flipping the script on Murray State in the second half to outscore the Racers on the road 63-31 after halftime on their home floor. What happened here at halftime? What did you tell your guys to prompt this turnaround?
Yeah, first of all, let's don't forget there was a first half, and it was woefully bad, much to Murray State's credit. But I think we just settled down, honestly. I mean, we didn't make any big halftime adjustments that a coach would get credit for. Just we were going to be more aggressive and be more confident in what we do and play the way that we're supposed to play, and that actually worked out. So the second half was tremendous.
I remember talking to you very early in the season when I got a chance to do some sidelines for you guys, and you mentioned to me how excited you were about the way your guys were playing defensively so early in the year. You said it felt like it was as ahead as you guys have been on that side of the ball since you arrived as the head coach at Belmont. Has that been, how big of a role has that played in this run that you guys are on 24-4 at this point in the season?
Yeah, it's definitely helped us. I mean, offense is still our calling card. It's what is probably always going to define our overall success. But we've been so much better on the defensive end. And last night is a great example. We were not a good offensive team the first half of the game. Really took a lot of bad shots, had a lot of bad turnovers, just never got in sync. And I wouldn't say we were great defensively, but we sustained ourselves. We were able to stay in the game, keep it relatively close because defensively we were able to hold our own.
Tyler Lundblade has upped his scoring numbers a little bit, Coach, this season. He's averaging nearly 16 points per game, leading you guys in scoring, coming off that record-setting year of most three-pointers made in Belmont history. Maybe the three-point percentage has dipped a little bit, but it's clear how consistently he's bringing it. What have you seen him add to his game this year?
Well, he's still shooting 40%. And when you talk about as many attempts as he has, that's an incredible percentage. I think his next make will be his 100th on the season. So he's still a weapon, even though his percentage isn't as high. But him being out there makes everybody so much better. He requires so much attention from the defense that it allows our other good players, and we have a lot of really great shooters on this team and good offensive players. It really allows them more space, more freedom, less attention, and overall it works really well for the team.
Casey Alexander, Belmont head coach, with us on 104.5 The Zone after a comeback win over Murray State on the road yesterday. The Bruins host Indiana State on Saturday with the regular season starting to draw to a close, only 3 games left. I saw The Athletic did a really good piece on you, Coach, your program, the consistency you guys have achieved over the years, going back to the end of Coach Bird's tenure, of course, and into the Casey Alexander tenure. And the article pointed out, obviously, so many of the players that have departed your program that are making impacts across the country at the Power 4 level. The way that Belmont has remained consistent through all of that, through the Jacoby Gillespies and Cade Tysons and Malik Diaz of the world, moving on and playing big roles at big programs, it almost feels like it's a challenge that you guys have kind of embraced, Coach, right? Like the life of a mid-major program right now is certainly a challenging one in the current state of college basketball. But how much have you guys kind of just embraced that challenge of, hey, this is something that's just going to keep happening. How do we deal with it and adjust to it?
Yeah, embracing the challenge is a little strong. I don't know if if I seek it out by any stretch, but we really have no choice. We have to handle the cards that we've been dealt and make the most of them. And being at Belmont, it gives us a great opportunity to find players and to create a roster that can still have success even when we've lost so many good players. It's still a great place to come to. Nashville is great. Our campus is great. The university is great. The winning tradition is great. So we still have a lot to offer, even if we're having to start over a lot more than we would want to.
Can you take me inside the mindset of a program like yours with the season that you're having and understanding that Missouri Valley in majority of years is going to be a one bid league in the NCAA tournament? How do you handle that in terms of your messaging to the guys that, hey, what we're doing is great and this consistency and all of that, but once you get into conference tournament play is where you're earning your way to the big dance? How do you kind of balance those things while you're having the success that you're having in the regular season?
Well, you're consistently thinking about it, but we have yet to have any conversation about the NCAA tournament. We've got 3 regular season games left. There's still a lot that can happen. It always does. Historically, you look back at conference races and the last week or two of the season, and crazy things happen year after year. So we're honestly just focused on what's right in front of us. A regular season title would be our first in this league. We've said it for years and years. The regular season conference championship is so much more difficult to win than a tournament championship. So let's cross that one off first, and then let's try to get to the first week of March, and then we'll worry about the tournament. That's not coach speak at all. It's just really what I think we have to do at this point.
Coach, always enjoy catching up with you. Good luck in your week of preparation and this weekend against Indiana State.
Hey, thank you.
Casey. Love you, Coach.
He didn't hear you, bud.
Say it back, Coach.
No, he didn't hear.
I got you. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, appreciate you, Coach.
Hey, dang it, he did hear
it. No, it's okay. He appreciates you. We appreciate him.
I do appreciate him.
Casey
the best-looking coach in Tennessee, as far as I'm concerned.
Let's go.
I'm telling you, there is an all-star group of bald coaches being assembled in Nashville, Tennessee. And Casey Alexander at Belmont, no exception. The Bruins right now, 14-3 in Missouri Valley play. They lead the conference, and only 3 games left in the regular season. I mean, just Nashville right now, man. We've talked plenty about Vanderbilt on the men's side, this turnaround that Mark Byington has orchestrated. At this point, the Vanderbilt women's team is a bona fide title contender, and Michaela Blakes is absolutely a contender for National Player of the Year, much less SEC Player of the Year. Austin Peay right now, 9-1 in ASUN play. They've won, 13 of their last 14 of the last 15. Austin Peay has won. So times are good right now in Music City in college hoops. When we come back, we will bring back this discussion about the Titans' new logo. I want to hear your reaction to it and what the Titans are trying to do in blending its current versus older history. Next. It is 12 o'clock. Good afternoon from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. In NFL news, the Miami Dolphins have made a litany of cuts, letting go two-time Pro Bowl edge rusher Bradley Chubb, who is a free agent at the age of 29, as well as 8-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Tyreek Hill, who is set to turn 32 and is coming off an ACL tear that happened only 4 games into the 2025 season. The Dolphins also cut a familiar face in former Titans wide receiver Nick Westbrook-Akine. In Milan Cortina, the Winter Olympics continue on. The Team USA women's hockey squad won 5-0 over Sweden in the semifinal matchup. They advance to the gold medal match where they will play either Canada or Switzerland. This is the U.S. currently is third in the total medal count behind Norway, who leads the total medal count in Milan Cortina. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. So a new age for the Tennessee Titans feels like we're on the cusp of it, right? Only 1 year left at the current Nissan Stadium. We're getting logos leaked out on Fanatics. The team has yet to say anything officially about it, but it feels like it's been in the works. There's been breadcrumbs to follow along the way. The new logo, which, as reported by A to Z Sports, will indeed be at least one of the Titans' new marks, and it feels like that is what we're going to see on Titans helmets for the foreseeable future. Again, according to A to Z Sports, starting in 2026. The same logo that you've probably seen on the internet by now, the same logo that is plastered all over Titans House where you go if you want to get PSLs for the new stadium. And it certainly has prompted a lot of reaction, as it seems as though we're getting close to the fireball, the flaming thumbtack, whatever you want to call it, that era of Titans branding maybe being behind us as we get into 2026. Welcome back to the show. We are fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. You can order for pickup or delivery today. Download the Hattie B's app. You get a free dessert just for downloading the app. Lucas and Robert with you until 1 o'clock. Buck, unfortunately, will be back tomorrow, but we put it to a poll to get your reaction. How do you feel about the new Titans logo? At Lucas Panzica is where you can go vote. We'll update the polls at the end of the show. Love it, like it, or bring back the fireball. You don't want anything to do with the new logo. I think, and opinions have been kind of scattered on this, but the majority of the opinions from what I have seen have been, at first glance, just looking at it on social media with a white background, like it's on Microsoft Word or something. People say, don't like it. It's bland. You got rid of the fireball. And then people see it on the helmet and kind of the mock-up of what it'll actually look like in game action. And I think people are starting to come around. Some people still love it. Some people still hate it. I have a different mindset about it that just has this sort of bittersweet nature about the Titans that we've come to know over the last 25 years. And I don't know, Robert, I think it's going to be interesting. The logo is fine. I think it's good. I think it looks clean on the Oilers blue skewed uniform. That won't be Oilers uniforms per se, but will be the primary color as they were in 2025. But I just think about what the Titans have been and what I have known the Titans to be just from a branding and a look perspective. And then that first game in the new Nissan Stadium is just, it's going to be odd for me. I don't know. It's going to be kind of like, it feels like we're watching an expansion team or something, you know, new uniform look, new logo, new stadium. And Nashville is a new city, and the Titans are trying to change and evolve with that. But it's always a weird thing as a fan when it's not like you become a fan because of the logo or the colors. Maybe some people do.
Yeah, that's the whole reason I like the Raptors. When I was a little kid, I was like, oh, yeah, Vince Carter, dinosaurs, purple, count me in.
You don't give a damn about the Raptors.
I do. I really care about the Raptors. They're actually playing really well right now. I would assume they would have already traded Brandon Ingram, but that concludes our NBA talk for the day.
Name 2 Raptors players.
Brandon Ingram and Grady Dick.
Okay.
All
right. But I might be alone in this. I might be alone in taking comfort out of my team having something that is consistent, right? That is pulling that thread of having a tie to the team that I grew up watching in Nashville. And maybe people don't have that sentimental value attached to logos and colors. And what I am saying right now might sound absolutely ridiculous, but if that is indeed the last time we saw the Fireball logo and that blowout loss to the Jags in the regular season finale, then yeah, I'll be a little bit sad about it. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. Charlie in Brentwood is up first. Hey, Charlie.
Hey, how you doing?
Great.
I am one that does not like this at all. Okay, and I'm not the big season ticket holder. I don't have a lot of money invested, but the Fireball to me, and I put it on the line the other day, the Fireball is like the Green Bay G. It's been there long enough. It's the symbol of the Titans. It's a better, more concise, better thought out version than what they came up with. And you have to have some iconic look about your team, and that Fireball is what it is. It's been there since the beginning of the Titans. I don't know why we got to keep going back to the Oilers. They never won anything. The color, the uniforms they had were terrible. I never liked Carolina blue at all. When I'm 69 years old, I was growing up, the Bengals beat them all the time. All right, the Steelers beat them all the time. So why do we want to go back to those colors? If you're talking about somebody losing something, let's keep the iconic look. I mean, let's keep the Fireball. That thing is the symbol of the Titans. It has been.
Thanks for the call, Charlie. I don't disagree in principle on the idea of keeping the Fireball and that being your logo as a Titans fan, because it's the same for me. I'm not going to go as far as to compare it to the Green Bay G, right? When you're talking about a franchise as foundational to the NFL as the Packers, its first ever Super Bowl champion, a team that had its inaugural season in like the teens, the 1918, 1919, World War I was happening when the Packers were playing football. But I get what you're saying in principle, that to you, that Titans Fireball logo is your foundational logo for the team that you support, that you were never an Oilers fan. You are a fan of the Titans. I don't think it means the Titans should just slash any ties with the Oilers. The Titans are the Oilers are the Titans, as hard as that seems to be for some people to understand, right? The concept of a franchise belonging to a family, even if it does have ties to a city, and I understand that fans have ties to that franchise, and I understand why Houston fans would be upset about that. But the logic of it all, I think we can all understand that Oilers belong to Amy Adams Strunk and her family, so it is her prerogative to honor that history, and I like that they honor that history the way they have over the years. What I somewhat worry about is this blending of being this new era of the Titans and mixing it in with Oilers history, right? It's a totally new look with a nod to what the Houston Oilers were in the Columbia Blue. I just don't want a quarter century of Titans history to kind of get lost in that. You know what I mean? I don't want 25 years of what the Titans were and looked like to kind of dissipate away while the team looks for a new look and honors the Oilers look.
Right, and that's why I'm willing to give them a little bit of grace in this situation. On one hand, you're never going to make everyone happy. Some people are going to be pissed it's not the old Derek. Some people are going to be pissed you didn't make a sword out of the old Derek. Some people are going to be mad about this or that. And the other part of it is we don't know what the uniforms are going to look like. We just know that this is an updated logo, right? Like, am I wrong on that? So, like, I'm willing to give, at least while Buck is gone, I'm willing to give the Titans a little bit of grace in this to where, okay, let's see what it all looks like together. Because if I hold up just a bunch of paint cards to you and you're like, no, that fuchsia is disgusting, but then the backdrop of my kitchen is painted by that, and you're like, oh, I see what you're going for. The trim looks really good.
Right.
Like, so when the whole ensemble is put together, you may like it. Yeah. You may even love it. So I understand poo-pooing something because there's no football going on and there's a lot of reasons to say, well, I don't like the minimalist look. I don't like what they're doing with this. Like, I still think there's an opportunity for this to turn out to something that everyone will eventually be happy with, or at the very least, okay with.
And not to be Captain Obvious here, but the way it so directly correlates to the results on the field is amplified when you're ushering this new era of Titans football, new stadium, new logo, the new Titans, all of these things. If this doesn't work, right, Robert Saleh, Brian Daboll, the partnership, Cam Ward is your franchise quarterback, then what's that logo and that new era associated with? right?
And that's why I think it's a difficult thing to do, because you're marrying the past and the future. It's like, okay, what do we want to keep? Like, is it the color scheme? Like, how do we want to present ourselves moving forward? And we talked about it earlier in the show. These things are always going to be met with, oh, well, that doesn't look as cool as like when the Jaguars' initial logo, I think, is the coolest logo they've ever had. But I would also listen to people go, no, I didn't like the full Jaguar. I just like the Jaguar head.
Right.
Or I kind of like the cartoon Jaguar head. There has never been a logo change that everyone unanimously was like, yep, great decision. Bravo, everyone involved. So I think time will tell. And really the only way to know if they're cool or not is how you look playing in them. How you look winning in them. Like if you look like the Steelers Bumblebee look that everyone unanimously hates, I think is badass because they kicked the Ravens' ass wearing them. It's like, oh, like the Killer Bee, Shawn Michaels back in the day. Like, it wasn't a super intimidating look like it's a bumblebee, but it depends what you look like and play like wearing them.
Exactly. It's so associated. Everybody's going to have their opinion on it now. If you hate it, I promise you that opinion will be completely different if the Titans in 2 years are going 13-4 and are the 2 seed in the AFC playoffs.
Yup.
Right? Like, you will then associate that change with winning football. There's also the other version of that, where you associate that change with more losing football in a bad era. So what happens on the field so obviously is tied to how people are going to consciously or subconsciously view the logo and the branding change. And teams like the Titans, like the Jags, which is a great example, like the Texans, even the Ravens, right, that have had obviously more success and have won Super Bowls, but teams like that don't have the staying power that only comes with being in existence for, like the Packers, 100 years, I feel like have more license to do these things, right? It is true that, to me, that Titans logo is foundational, is historic, because it's all I knew when I grew up watching Titans football, being a kid born in Nashville. But in the grand scheme of things, just like when the Patriots switched their logo or when Denver went from the D to the horse, it gets lost in the shuffle and your new logo just becomes your new logo. And it only matters what's happening on the field, not what people thought when you changed the logo. Now, this has come up a lot, and I'm glad Devin said this in the F&M Bing chat, because it's one of the most common retorts that you get from Titans fans. We are on 104.5 The Zone TV, by the way, where you can chime in on the F&M Bing chat, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, where Devin on YouTube says, I don't understand calling your team the Titans and wanting to go away from the Greek mythology aspect. And this is a very common opinion among Titans fans, right? Titans came to Nashville, considered the Athens of the South, Adelphia Coliseum, the Titans, right? So associated with Greek mythology. They leaned in those early days. I can tell you that the Titans, and I don't need to tell you this by now, are slashing anything that has to do with Greek mythology. And I think the Titans want the Titans brand and logo to be something more in line with, like, the Giants, right? The New York Giants don't have anything associated with people that are larger than other human beings or any mythological creature.
They used to be the New York Titans.
Ironically, they were the Titans, right? Like, the Jets don't do a lot of,
JJ the jet plane.
They don't do a lot of plane stuff these days, right? They're just the Jets, right? And they're terrible at football, so they're easy to make fun of, on any level. But they're just the Jets. No planes in the logo or in the marketing or promos or whatever. The Giants are just the Giants. There's no, 20-foot-tall people stomping around in their facility and posters or whatever. The Titans just want to be the Titans, and I don't think they care very much about any ties to the Greek mythology aspect of it, which I do understand a lot of fans would love for them to do.
One thing we can agree on, though, if they're getting rid of the flaming part of the thumbtack, then they can get rid of the Ring of Fire, right? That everyone is so up in arms about. Oh, we don't like Ring of Fire. What is it, a touchdown song or something?
It's after they score touchdowns. I would expect the in-game, a lot to change about the in-game experience at Nissan Stadium. A lot in 2026, and, of course, with the new stadium opening. So a lot of you have thoughts on this. 615-737-1045. It is Mock Draft Monday, which we will get to. But first, we'll get to your calls coming up next. Well done. That's really good. Really good. How many hours did that take you?
I think I did it in about 14 minutes.
Just to get the timing down, the pitch, all of it.
You got to watch it firsthand today.
I know, flawless.
What can I say? When I've got an idea, I perform it half-assedly. So, no, I was pretty tickled with how it turned out. More tickled that you're into Mock Draft Mondays today. The first thing you said to me is, "Oh, I love that all these mock drafts have the Titans taking different people. It's great
Because
I love it.
It's the appropriate time to get into Mock Draft Mondays. I've never been against mock drafts. I'm just against mock drafts in November.
I don't think so. Think you don't like mock drafts, dude.
No,
if you
no.
you can either have mock drafts when they are available or them not at all. Which one are you choosing?
Well, when they're available.
Of course.
But
yes.
it doesn't mean we have to go crazy over it.
But we have an exceptional, I don't even know if we're going to get to it today, but Nick Suss, if you're into mock drafts, unlike Lucas, Nick Suss had a 7-round mock draft, which if you're a sicko like me, you love getting into the nitty-gritty about who they're going to take in the 6th round. Nick Suss did the sussing out for you. I hope we get to go over that, but if we don't, you should still go read it at the Tennessean. It was great.
We will. Field Yates also put out his latest mock draft about 5 days ago. We'll tell you who he has the Titans taking. Also an interesting note that Field Yates has in his 1st-round mock that has a very local tie that we'll get to. But before we go back to the phones, Robert, did you know that the Coolidges, President Calvin Coolidge and First Lady Grace Coolidge had...
Is that the dude who had parvo or something in a wheelchair? Is that the one that couldn't walk?
That would be FDR.
Oh, wrong guy.
The polio.
Wrong guy. What did I say? Parvo? I think that's the disease that kills baby dogs and stuff.
I think that's the fake name that
Oh, Janice's son.
Janice
yes,
Soprano.
on The Sopranos.
Yeah.
What do you think Parvo's doing? You think what's Italian for growing up without a mother?
No, that's like the hippie name that she comes back with, isn't it? It was like Pavar.
Oh, you're right. I can't remember what her
She's
son's
like requesting
name was.
to be called.
Yes,
this
Parvo.
Anyway, the Coolidges had 5 dogs, a cat, a bear, 2 lions, a goose, a bobcat, an antelope, a wallaby, and a pygmy hippo as pets at the White House. And a raccoon named Rebecca.
Harpo. Harpo was what
that's what the
kid's name was.
Janice's kid's name is?
Yes. Tony and others frequently mocked the name Harpo, often implying a strange or ridiculous choice.
And her fake name was Pavard?
Was Hal. Janice later never mind.
No,
okay,
that's
I'm
the
right.
guy. That's the guy she was with.
You're right.
Anyway, 615-737-1045. Still getting your thoughts on the Titans logo. How much do you like the departure from the Fireball? The integration of more themes from that Oilers Love You Blue as the Titans move towards a new era that they certainly hope will be associated with winning football with Robert Saleh and Cam Ward and so on. Mo in Nashville is up next. Hey, Mo.
I like the old logo we have, especially like the flame part. I feel like that just embodies what Tennessee is, if that makes sense. Like growing up, that's what I associate with the Titans, that little flame part of the logo. I'm not a big fan of whatever the new logo is going to be, whatever it is. I don't know if what we're seeing on Instagram is the actual new logo, but I don't like it. Side note, you kind of sound like Noah Eagle, Lucas. I don't know if you've ever gotten that before, but I was watching the All-Star game last night, and I could not get that out of my head. He sounded just like that guy.
that was me last night calling the All-Star game. Thank you, Mo. Appreciate
That's
the call.
actually Lucas's favorite broadcaster.
615-737-1045.
Don't move on so quickly.
Noah Eagle.
We could talk about that Nepo baby taking all the good jobs and play-by-play.
He's good at what he does.
Yeah, he's got a great father. Yeah, that's what happens. He want to join the family business.
His father also excellent at what he does.
Father has to tell him, I'm a doctor. You got to go to school for that.
The NBA All-Star game was yesterday. They did this USA versus the world thing where any NBA players I don't think I need to explain it, but it was more convoluted than I expected. I tuned in for a bit and they were like, game 2 of 4 is happening. I was like, all right, I don't feel like that.
Yeah, it's too much.
I don't need to sit here and learn a whole new format.
I'd rather see a dodgeball game.
Yeah. Well, did that make you watch the Pro Bowl week stuff?
No, it didn't.
Yeah,
I mean, I caught pieces of it, but here's my idea for the NBA game, and I'll do this quickly. Talls versus Smalls. only the tallest people in the NBA against the smallest people in the NBA.
So what's the cutoff?
It's got over 7-footers for people under 6'3" or 6'2", whatever the average is. Take it down.
Oh my goodness!
Only
I
the
love
shorties versus the tall dudes.
That's so great.
Yeah, because who would win? Who would realistically win that? Because you could say, oh yeah, all the shorties they'll have better ball moving, but there's 5 bigs out there. They're going to just cover the paint and then come out and try to grab you.
Entering, this is Google AI, so take it for what it's worth. But for the purposes of this conversation, who cares? According to Google AI, entering the 24-25 season, so a couple seasons ago, the average height of an NBA player was approximately 6'7". Oh, you do the thing.
Ooh.
So anybody below that would be on the, what do you want, small versus tall or something?
Smalls versus talls, yes. That's what I want. And if they do it, I want credit.
The talls would dominate.
No, you don't know that. They'd be dribbling between Victor Wembanyama's legs, nutmegging people. They'd say, "Oh, little Scoots Magoots over there."
This isn't 1954 where the only thing NBA bigs can do is dunk. Like, they can get out and shoot now. They can dribble. They can distribute.
Okay, give them an extra. Smalls get a 6-man that can play on the court.
It would be a bloodbath.
No. Okay, Victor Wembanyama, Giannis, Jokic.
I wish we had Slay here to.
I should have pitched this when he was in. Slay, if you can hear me, let me know how you feel about smalls versus talls.
Oh, 615-737-1045 if you want to weigh in on the NBA All-Star Game idea Robert has. Talk about the Titans logo or Field Yates' latest mock draft, which has Fernando Mendoza going number 1 overall to the Las Vegas Raiders. I want there to be one mock draft from a prominent analyst that does not have Fernando Mendoza going to Vegas, just for bleeps and giggles. At number 2, the New York Jets, he has selecting Ohio State edge rusher Arvell Reese.
Which is almost as bad as Fernando Mendoza going 1. Like, I feel like they say, oh, the draft starts at 3. It's just over and over again. Fernando at 1, Arvell Reese at 2.
Yeah, Arvell Reese getting a lot of love as edge 1 in this draft.
Not for me. We can have a discussion about Arvell Reese and his position in this draft at a later date, but not a fan.
He writes,
well, not a fan, but
he writes, a quarterback is unlikely at this juncture for the Jets, who have myriad needs to address in the draft and the next, where they are flushed with picks. 5 first-rounders in the next 2 drafts? Only the 49ers finished with fewer sacks than the Jets in 2025. I add parenthetically, the Jets did not have a single interception on defense in 2025, which does have something to do with your lack of an ability to affect a quarterback. He says Reese could bring New York's defense significant pass rush upside and versatility. After playing mostly inside linebacker at Ohio State prior to last season, Reese kicked out to a primary edge role in 2025 and posted 6.5 sacks. Only Will McDonald had a higher sack total among Jets players last season. Reese has great length, a quick first step, and smooth athletic movements to bend the edge around opposing tackles. So he's got Reese to the Jets at number 2. He has Francis Maui-Goa, or it's Maui-Noa, right?
Yes,
okay.
Maui-Noa.
He has the offensive tackle out of Miami going 3 to Arizona, and he has the Titans selecting with the number 4 overall pick. Field Yates says David Bailey, edge rusher, Texas Tech. He writes, the Titans could easily go wide receiver with this pick to further support quarterback Cam Ward, but Bailey addresses another roster hole that new head coach Robert Saleh would surely be thrilled to tackle. Bailey led the FBS in sacks at 14.5 during his lone season at Texas Tech after 3 seasons at Stanford. A number of those sacks came from his lightning-fast first step, the best of any collegiate rusher, and he has the instincts to get his hands up in passing lanes. So not Ruben Bain, but David Bailey to the Titans at 4, according to Field Yates. Just to round it out, he has the Giants taking Caleb Downs, the Ohio State, the former Bama safety at 5.
That would be very John Harbaugh to take a safety in his first draft.
The Browns, Field Yates has taking Spencer Fano, the offensive tackle out of Utah, at 6. He has Carnell Tate as the first receiver off the board at 7 to the Commanders. Jordan Tyson, the receiver out of Arizona State, at 8 to the Saints. Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love at 9 to the Chiefs. And then Ruben Bain falling to 10 with the Cincinnati Bengals. So am I crazy? Like, is Arvell Reese that much of a slam dunk better candidate than David Bailey in this draft?
No.
I mean, how much are we talking about intangibles there and measurements and the sort of things that we figure out officially at the scouting combine?
A ton, an absolute ton. Like, as he noted in his write-up, before this year, Arvell Reese was played the majority of his snaps at inside linebacker. So a lot of this is projection. He had a decent year with, as he noted, 6.5 sacks. But a lot of people are going to make the Micah Parsons comparison. We're like, oh, look how fluid he is. Look how multiple he can be. You can play him in either spot. But I remember, let me get on my old man soapbox. I remember back in my day, we used to call these guys tweeners. We didn't know where they were. They were in between being big enough to be a linebacker and too fat to be middle or an inside linebacker. I just think there's too many question marks about his play. It's not enough. Like, David Bailey is a bona fide, ready-to-play pass rusher. And then you're kind of hoping that because of the upside Arvell Reese possesses, that he would be able to slide in and also be a prolific pass rusher. But we don't know those things. So I think a lot of it is projection, a lot of what he could be. I would rather have the player that you know more about. You have a more concrete idea about what they would be or how they would play in the NFL. I don't love doing that at 2, but again, it's the Jets. So who knows?
Titans just did that last year. Drafted a player in the second round with a prominent history of being an off-ball linebacker, converting to edge, playing essentially one season at that spot, and very much being a developmental piece in Femi Oladejo, whom we only got to see in 6 games last year, and is going to have to be a big part of that Titans rotation in 2026. Now, flipping over to Dane Brugler, who does not have a recent mock draft, but did put out his top 100 players. Brugler of The Athletic puts together The Beast, the most comprehensive draft guide, I would say, that is out there on any public domain heading into the NFL draft. His first top 100, I believe it's his first top 100. Who do you think, have you already seen this?
Not to where I'd be able to commit it to knowledge.
Which edge rusher do you think Brugler has at number 1?
Did he classify Ruben Bain as an edge rusher?
He does.
Okay, then I would say Ruben Bain.
No, he has David Bailey.
Okay.
He has David Bailey, 6'3", 250, the most productive out of any of these players. Just mentioned, led the FBS in sacks with the 14.5. He writes, a linear-based pass rusher, Bailey fires off the ball like a sprinter with stride length and hell-raising intentions to quickly build forceful momentum to the quarterback. He is at his best with the runway and must continue to polish his secondary moves. He is a violent strike-through tackler and showed clear improvements as a run defender in 2025, although his take-on skills and instincts need more work. He has Bailey as his number 6 overall prospect. Ruben Bain, he has as his second edge rusher at 9 overall. Arvell Reese, I'm still scrolling. Oh, Robert, I just totally lied to you.
Yeah, he was the first one.
Arvell Reese is his number 1 overall prospect. So not David Bailey. David Bailey is his 6th best overall prospect, his 2nd best edge. Arvell Reese is his number 1 prospect in the draft.
You see, that's kind of nuts to me because David Bailey, as far as being an edge rusher, has the least amount of question marks at that position out of those 3. Like, Ruben Bain, there are question marks about his length, not having, like, the elite physical traits that would separate him. He might have to slide inside and play some defensive line. Like, you don't really know about. And the same thing with Arvell Reese. He's only played the position for a year. David Bailey is a bona fide pressure sack guy. Like, you know what I mean? That's what he's going to provide you. So, maybe it's the upside and again, projection about where these guys could be or where they could lead you, but David Bailey, for your money, for my money, for anyone out there's money, is probably the best pure outside linebacker right now in the draft.
Brugler writes, Arvell Reese was the number 1 prospect on my midseason top 50, and nothing has changed at the top. An impressive height, weight, speed athlete, Reese, one of the youngest prospects in the draft class, was asked by Ohio State to play a blend of positions, which showcased his vast tools for NFL scouts. He is explosive from his spot with exceptional closing burst to cover ground in a blink. He falls somewhere between Micah Parsons and Jalen Walker in terms of his pro projection. Interesting.
Yeah, get ready to hear that Micah Parsons stuff a lot.
This is where draft discussion gets so interesting during the heat of the pre-draft process, right? The month or 2 leading into the NFL draft, where idiots like me care so much more about production. All right, how many times did he get home? How many times did he hit the quarterback? Did he sack the quarterback in 2025? people that actually watch football probably are more right on aggregate, but also will be more susceptible to fall in love with the traits and how somebody projects at the next level, as opposed to an idiot layman like me that's like, yeah, 14 and a half sacks, I want that. So I think that's going to be one of the most interesting discussions when we're out there in Indy next week. Reese, Bain, Bailey. Who, where, why, right? And I feel like there's going to be so many different variations of answers. But Arvell Reese mocked above David Bailey for both Field Yates and Dane Brugler. Brugler not mocked, but has him ranked above David Bailey. Field Yates with Bailey going to the Titans at 4. Another interesting component of this mock draft from Field Yates, what he has the Rams doing at 13, taking Tennessee cornerback Jermon McCoy. Remember, the Rams have the number 13 overall pick because they traded with the Falcons last year when Atlanta traded back up into the first to go get James Pierce Jr., which is a situation in and of itself. He has the Rams taking McCoy at 13 overall. And then at the Rams' actual draft pick, he's got them taking Tennessee corner Colton Hood at 29. A double dip into Rocky Top for the LA Rams for Field Yates, and he explained it on ESPN earlier this week.
He has the Rams taking Tennessee corners, Jermon McCoy, and Colton Hood. So you got 2 corners from the same school in round 1 going to the same team, which would be really cool, actually.
I have some history on that.
I was going to say, right?
I like
the Rams?
it.
Well, the Rams recently hired a Tennessee defensive back coach to their staff.
There
we
you go.
Never in the common draft era had 2 players at the same position drafted by the same team in the same round.
Hey,
in the same school.
Get the gang back together.
It's
Let's
a lot
go.
of same there.
I like it.
is. Yeah.
Do you like that move for the Rams? Is that the way to go?
Do I like a team drafting 2
I know, exactly.
in the first round
That was a
of the
rhetorical
draft?
question.
Yeah, Jason McCourty loves it, I'm sure. But now they did mention Michael Hunter, the Tennessee cornerbacks coach that the Rams swept up and hired last week. I don't know how worth mentioning that is. Michael Hunter did not coach neither Jermon McCoy nor Colton Hood. He was an assistant DB coach at Ohio State for the last couple of years. He was brought over by Jim Knowles, who he worked with at Ohio State, and has been an assistant on Josh Heupel's staff for maybe 5 or 6 weeks before getting that Rams job. So obviously they note it there, and I don't expect them to know the timeline of every Tennessee assistant coach. So that can be forgiven.
Oh, Tennessee fans attacked Matt Miller for that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Hey, where they were like,
do your homework.
They never even coached him.
I know. Yes, always mellow in situations like that, Tennessee fans. But as they pointed out, it's never happened before. 2 players who did not play a snap together. That's the other thing. Again, Robert, you're going to see part of the gripes I have about the combine, right? The amount of people in Indy, if this sort of scenario gets floated again, the amount of people in Indy that will see it and say, well, that makes sense. They were teammates. They played together, didn't play a snap together. Jermon McCoy was out the entire season. Well, yeah, they hired their defensive backs coach. That makes sense. Michael Hunter, who did not coach either of these players. Oh, they'll reunite with a former teammate in Jalen McCullough. Also would have never played with either Jermon McCoy nor Colton Hood at Tennessee. So that's where a lot of that stuff gets lost in translation. And again, we don't expect everybody to keep up with the goings-on of every single program. But that would be some interesting history if the Rams take the same position out of the same team. It's never happened for an NFL team to draft 2 players from the same program in the first round, right?
From the same program at the same position.
Oh, at the same position. Is that the caveat? Has there been an example of an NFL team drafting 2 players from 2 different positions in the first round from the same school?
See, I was trying to find some different way to talk about this, but when I looked at it, there were a number of times that players from the same position have been drafted from the same school in the same round. Namely, in 91, when 2 Tennessee tackles were taken at 7 and 8, Charles McRae was taken at 7, and then Antone Davis was taken at 8, and they were both from Tennessee and both played tackle.
Antone Davis, fun fact, was, I believe, a champion on, remember the show The Biggest Loser?
Dude, it used to make me cry having to watch it with my mom when a bunch of fat fatties would come in and have to lose all that weight to try to win.
Antone Davis was a part of that TV show.
Wow.
For a while. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Heck yeah.
In the first round, I think they're saying, would be the first time that it happens in the first round for 2 players from the same school to go to the same team.
I think both these dudes were drafted in the first round of the same draft.
Anto Davis?
Yes. Well, let me double check now. Hold on. Yes, 1991 in the first round.
Okay, so it would have to be same position. I see.
Which it was the same position. They were both tackles. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that stat is correct, but I'll do some digging. Maybe cornerback. The first time two corners. I don't know how specific you have to get.
They also said the modern. I don't know at what point do we say 1991 is not that long ago,
right?
Okay, 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. We'll get our crack research team on that, and we'll wrap up the show with some polls next. A little bit of local news. In a press release just moments ago, Nashville Soccer Club announces it has extended the contract of head coach B.J. Callahan. Just finished his first full season as NSC's manager, and with the MLS campaign starting Saturday, he is extended through the 2028-29 MLS season. So, congrats to BJ, and we'll have him on the show tomorrow.
Oh, love that. Well, we also have some cleaning up to do while it's easily distractible. There was an error made last segment where we were talking about two players that were from the same team that were at the same position, drafted in the same draft. You frivolously didn't remind me that it was also drafted by the same team. So
right.
I forgive you. You know, that's a lapse in judgment on your part. Me and the audience will not hold it against you. So that's Lucas's fault. He apologizes.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for understanding.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not two players drafted in the first round from the same college team just generally, but drafted to the same franchise. That's not happened in the modern era. And if it does happen with the Rams taking both McCoy and Colton Hood, it will happen with the same position for two players that never played a snap together at Tennessee to go play for a position coach in L.A. that was just hired from Tennessee, but did not coach either of those players. So some interesting dynamics at play.
Do any of the other names jump off the page to you for just not drafted by the same team? Same position, same school, same round? Because I've got a couple for you.
There's got any Alabama ones in there? I feel like there's got to be an example from the Nick Saban era of two Bama players.
I don't have two, but maybe if you were saying outside linebacker and just linebacker in general, potentially. But the ones that I have, Darren McFadden and Felix Jones in 2008, draft both running backs, both select from Arkansas, both selected in the first round. From Auburn, Ronnie Brown going second overall, and then Cadillac Williams going fifth overall in 2005.
Yeah.
And then also Titans legend and Penn State legend Mike Munchak, 8th overall. Sean Farrell, 17th overall in 1982. Both guards from the same school.
Harrison points out in 2002, Albert Hainsworth and John Henderson, both drafted out of Tennessee in the first round.
Could I interest you in fantasy football elite name artist Dwayne Bowe being taken 23rd overall, and then Craig Davis being taken at 30th in 2007? I like naming names.
It is a fun game, isn't it? Speaking of, there is a sad name to name, Robert, as you have just informed me of some news of a passing in Hollywood.
Oh, with Robert Duvall, dude. While we're naming names, naming movies, we were just all like giving our favorite movies he was in. The first thing that comes to mind for me, which it should be Godfather, but it's not, Secondhand Lions.
Great movie.
With, what's the other dude's name? The English dude. He's the butler. Michael Caine.
Of course.
Exceptional movie. And then you brought up, before I can even get it out, Four Christmases, where he's Vince Vaughn's dad.
The most underrated Christmas movie. Modern age Christmas movie.
I will give you that.
Yeah,
I will give you
good.
that.
That cast is incredible. Yeah, I mean, so many good movies.
Kicking and Screaming, where is he? Where would you place him on a movie dad list? Because he's always like a jerk dad, like never like a nurturing father, but he is somebody that is a lot of fun to watch from afar. I had plenty of friends whose dads were like that.
95 years old, Robert Duvall. That is a full life. 95. Yeah, I mean, the original True Grit. We can go on and on. I mean, Apocalypse Now.
Yep.
Of course.
Lonesome Dove.
The smell of napalm in the morning. I mean, you could just... We could keep naming movies.
We will
classic movies.
As you noted, we'll do the Godfather poll in honor of Robert Duvall.
R.I.P. Robert Duvall. Robert, did you know that Gerald Ford gained a great deal of attention when he took over for Richard Nixon as president, but he could have made his name in a different arena because Gerald Ford, as it is a mock draft Monday.
Well, let me guess what school he played for.
Go on.
Was it Michigan? Because he's Ford.
No.
Who was it then?
Gerald Ford played college football. That part of it is not in front of me.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
dude.
my God. It is Michigan. It is Michigan.
What did I tell you, dude?
He was a center.
What did I tell you, dude?
On the Michigan Wolverines football team.
Don't play with me.
2 undefeated seasons and national titles in 1932 and 1933.
See, that's what upsets me because you've gotten to spit out all of these facts.
Yeah, right.
About presidents. So I've had one that I've had in my back pocket since you told me, hey, we're going to do presidential facts.
That's fantastic. Is he related to the Ford family?
I don't know. I just assumed. Yeah, that's something like that. I don't know. I'm not that great in history. I'm barely here as it is. But
he did play for Michigan, and he was drafted, Gerald Ford, by the Lions and the Packers. Not sure how that works. He was drafted by 2 NFL teams. He turned them down, though, so he could go to Yale Law School. And while he was at Yale Law, he coached. He was a line coach for the school's football team.
No, he is not related to Henry Ford, who started Ford. But my presidential fact of the day, the 18th president of the United States, Ulysses S. Grant, was given a $20 speeding ticket for riding his horse and buggy too fast down a street in Washington, D.C.
Fantastic.
Can you imagine being that police officer? Like, I assume they had to make the noises on their mouths back then. Woo! Pull over! Woo! Mr. President, you're going too fast. And the whole time, clip, clop, clip, clop, clip, clop, clip, clop.
Know why I pulled you over?
Yeah. My improper equipment, officer. I'm sorry, I couldn't see how fast these horses were going. Well, there's only 2 of them, so you know it's 2 horsepower.
Those are your presidential facts for the day. Let's do some polls. Oh, Days of Thunder.
The polls brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. How do you feel about the new Titans logo? Love it, like it, or bring back the Fireball? 45% say they like it. 31% say they love it. 22% say bring back the Fireball.
Something all over the place.
You would have heard me say probably in college when people were like, no, we need to leave. And I'm saying, no, bring back that Fireball.
Well, they start winning games. People are going to like the logo.
Do you want the Titans to pursue Bradley Chubb? We put this out before we knew the whole cavalcade of players that would be released by Miami. 53% say yes, 46% say no. The audience pretty split on it.
Very split today on the polls.
Will Joey Aguilar get a favorable ruling? I assumed we would have some home cooking in this, but we did not. It was almost as split as the previous poll. 53% saying yes, 46% saying no. How do you feel most Vols fans feel about that? Do they want Joey to come back, or would they rather see a... Okay.
There are some that say, no, how are we going to get any high school recruits at the quarterback position if we keep bringing back older guys or getting transfers? The best case scenario for Tennessee is for Joey Aguilar to play quarterback. So we'll see if Justice Haggerty is just faking us all out and doing this tough guy show Friday just to give Joey the injunction, but... who knows? Who knows what the ruling's going to be or when it's going to happen?
Are first-class tickets on flights generally worth it? Scoob said, never been in first class, so I couldn't tell you. Appreciate your contribution there, buddy. Poll probably wasn't for you. No, with 60%, 40% saying, yeah, it's worth it.
It's probably not worth the money when you're talking about international travel, but that I do have this fight with my fiance all the time. I just want to lay down. I can't sleep on planes.
Oh, I can't do nothing but fall asleep. Cheyenne's watching movies, reading books. As soon as we get set, and they're like, make sure to cut all your electronic.
I'm so jealous of you.
I'm done.
Those are the polls?
Those are the polls.
All right, that's the show. Happy President's Day to you all. We will be back at it with Buck, unfortunately, right alongside tomorrow. Cover 2 is up next.